Nazi.
Wie bitte? Haben Sie mich gerade als Nazi beschimpft?
Na, Sie sind doch einer.
Das ist ja eine Unverschämtheit. Nur weil ich in der NSDAP und in der SS bin, bin ich noch lange kein Nazi. Wahrscheinlich bin ich auch noch rechtsextrem, oder was?
Ja, aber was sollen Sie denn sonst sein?
Ich bin vielleicht ein besorgter Bürger, der Angst vor Überfremdung hat. Aber ich bin nicht rechts. Und ich bin erst recht kein Nazi. Hey, Sie da? Sehe ich etwa wie ein Nazi aus?
Nö, würde ich jetzt nicht sagen.
Na, sehen Sie? Aber der ist wahrscheinlich für Sie auch ein Nazi, hm? Nazis, 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 lauter Nazis. Wenn einem die Argumente ausgehen, dann holt man schnell mal die gute alte Nazikeule raus.
Es hat doch nichts mit Nazikeule zu tun.
Sie machen sich das Leben sehr einfach. Nur weil jemand die Mainstream-Meinung nicht teilt, ist er gleich ein Nazi.
Aber Nazi sein ist doch längst Mainstream. Ihr Nationalsozialisten seid an der Macht.
Ach ja, ich vergaß. In Ihrer Welt sind ja alle Nazis. Der Führer ist wahrscheinlich für Sie auch ein Nazi, was?
Ja?
Jetzt reicht's aber. Führerbeleidigung. Mitkommen.
Also, das sind jetzt über...
Ja, ja, ich weiß. Nazi-Methoden.
He was accused of it. That is a fact. He was accused of it. Okay. How many of you look, I want to do a quick poll here. If you've ever been accused of assaulting a child, you just hit a 1 in chat, please. I just want to see how common it is. Obviously, this photo was not taken after he had just been told he was being charged with assaulting an 11-year-old, because he seems way too happy there. So let me get a 2 in chat if you have never been accused of assaulting an 11-year-old. 2 if you've never been accused of that, or any child, any age child, as an adult. I mean, if you were a child and you assaulted another child, that's one thing. Who cares? I did that. But like, as an adult, no, 2. Okay. Look, he's just got really, really bad luck then, I guess. I mean, how do you end up in that situation? Was he with a friend who did it? Did his friend do it or something? I don't know. I need more context to understand how they thought it was Will Jordan, even though it wasn't. It wasn't. Legally speaking, it was not. Okay. But I mean, if it was, I imagine it would have gone maybe something like this. What up, y'all? How's it going?
What's up?
No Bob today. Okay. Yeah. Click the button. Bob. Click it. Where are you?
I'm not here. I'm.
How y'all doing?
Welcome
man?
to the new stream where we just listen to typing all day.
We listen to typing and we fucking, show stuff to the camera.
Yeah.
We're
You
not
might be like,
Boblets.
gee whiz, don't you guys have topic? What?
Wait, what?
We're not Bobless. Just letting y'all know. Okay. As far as let's see. Oh, Mark Kinney has a comment for you specifically, Eric.
Oh, I mean, he talked about her like looking dumpy or like a.
He
like
said
a
she's
smaller-
dumpy.
Yeah.
Like,
a
Yeah, he
smaller
talked about
version
her-
of Black Widow when she's taller than fucking. Never mind. He's an idiot. Like,
Dumpy?
it's just,
She's not dumpy, man. I mean, like, even if she was, who cares? But like, a critical drinker would pay to sniff her chair. You know that.
Yes. Well, I mean, it is noteworthy how like he naturally, even though his whole entire review is garbage, but like he's talked about performances and like Lewis Pullman does a great job in that movie, but like Florence Pugh is fucking awesome in that.
I mean, she
movie
does
as
all the
well.
heavy lifting. She's basically.
She's
She
a woman,
carries
though.
the movie. I mean,
She's a woman, though, so
True,
you
true.
can't just give her.
Well,
compliment.
I
You
also
have to-
pointed out that he didn't give any of the men funny code names.
yeah.
It was only the
He
women.
almost never does, unless it's somebody that has been outspoken against, like Trump or the right or whatever.
Yeah.
Then he's gonna leave him alone.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
might have
crazy.
given he might have given John Walker a goofy name if he was played by Pedro Pascal.
Well, of course, he has no problem with John Walker being like a knockoff Captain America, but he has every problem with Sam being Captain America.
Yes.
So-
Yes.
Weird.
I wonder what the difference is there.
Hey, what up, man?
Hey, what's up, Ripoffers?
Yay.
Let me get one of them puppets, dog. But like not in a bad context though, if you don't mind, please. Fuck, I'm fucked myself just now, and I shouldn't.
I mean, honestly, I feel like, and I've talked about it a little bit in my video, but based on the movie that came out on, Critical Drinkers content, he doesn't need to be critiquing anybody's content ever again. Ever again.
Well, I mean, I feel like they're railing pretty hard against it. Like, they haven't even decided what course they're taking until late in the game with Thunderbolts, and they've decided to go against it naturally.
Which is
The only
weird
thing they
because,
had-
like, they're the only ones. They're
yeah, and
literally the
everybody
only
loves
ones.
it. I
Ahead of
thought it was a
time.
fantastic movie.
ahead of time, all they had was that it's focused on trauma and mental illness or whatever, and like depression, and it's all dark and stuff. Things that Drinker actually praised in his review, which is weird. As Birdman pointed out in his video covering Drinker's review, it's almost like he actually did like the movie, but then he just had to come to the
Oh
conclusion
shit,
and
it's
say that he
Marvel.
didn't like it.
Yeah.
There's I don't know how you get to, if you say as much positive stuff as he did about the film and then still come out with it's shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I understand if you like some stuff about it and you didn't like some stuff, you could be like, oh, this is disappointing because this didn't live up to the other stuff that I did like or whatever. That's a good nuanced review.
I don't even know if he saw the movie or not based on
Probably
his
not.
review. It seems like he got a lot of stuff
Possible,
wrong.
yeah.
And honestly, all of the negative comments I've had, I think maybe one or two people have tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm like, he misses key things. I don't want to spoil the movie, but there's things in his review that he says that are not correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could talk about it if you guys are okay with talking about it. I'm fine with spoilers. I already pretty much have it spoiled. So,
I mean, the new Avengers title is pretty
Right.
big spoiler.
Yeah.
So,
That's like the biggest spoiler there is. It's like, whoa, this is.
I mean, so a good example is in his review.
Though I spoiled it for everybody. All right.
In his review, he made it seem like Valentina was the one that pulled the trigger on the death switch for Sentry, and that's not what happens in the movie.
Yeah, it was Mel.
It was Mel, and it was a big deal. It was actually a big part of the movie because it kind of signifies her falling in line for Valentina. So it's a big portion of that story, and he literally got that wrong.
Well, he
one
also,
of the things
like
said,
not
so-
understand the part where and this course is based on me watching Birdman's video, but like that he didn't understand how they all just got there at the same time. And it's like you just described, and I'm watching, and I haven't seen the movie, and I just watched him say it, and I'm like, what are you talking about? That's how they all got there at the same time, is they all got assigned to go there.
Right.
You fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole point was that they were all supposed to arrive there so she could blow up the fucking
Because
building,
why would
essentially.
think about this, like go on the opposite side of that with the context clues. How would she make this happen as quickly as possible if she didn't tell them when to get there?
Yeah.
Like, oh, just show up at some point. It doesn't matter when.
Yeah.
Like whenever you feel like
chill
it.
out. I'll have some
God, they're so
beers
fucking
in there.
stupid.
You can chill out and relax and wait for everybody to
I
show
mean,
up.
it's to the point where, like, I imagine that watching Critical Drinker videos is going to get more and more frustrating because he's got such a captive audience now of people that just buy everything he says that he's going to get more and more lazy, more and more bad faith, probably not watch almost anything that he talks about. And they're just going to buy it, you know? So, like, and he knows that they will. So why would he put any effort in?
I mean, when you do content as shallow as his, and frankly, he's made a lot of money making shallow ass content. You know, it's easy to half-ass it because that's all he does.
I'm gonna take this in a different direction real quick. We might ought to have a little sympathy for him because it looks like he might have to pay a whole shitload of money to produce his next short film.
He didn't hit his Kickstarter goal.
No, because Trump is putting 100% tariffs
Oh,
on.
shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Okay. Nice segue.
Yeah.
There. I was like,
You know, that shit's made in fucking Vancouver last time, so I imagine they were going to do it again. It's, you know, I don't know. You know, of course, maybe he'll be able to get a you know, reprieve from it or whatever. They'll you know, give him a pass. In which case, cool, man. You're literally, you know, making
You're DEI now.
Do we know how
Welcome
those
to
tariffs
DEI.
are gonna, how those tariffs are going?
They can't work
exactly?
because, well, the thing is they can't.
Yeah.
Tariffs applies to goods and not services. So
Yeah.
there's no way to tariff any form of art unless the only thing he could go after is the tax incentives. He could like make it so the tax incentives you lose because he tariffs that part of it. But even that tariff doesn't even really apply to that. It would have to be like an embargo or something. Like you can't tariff. Like how do you even determine that?
Like
You wrote the script in Canada and then you brought it here, so now you have to pay tariffs on the script from Canada.
Like more like literal productions in. I mean, not to defend them or anything, but I feel like they're referring to actual productions that happen in, you know, like whenever something is produced in Pinewood in England or whenever something is produced over in Vancouver, stuff like that. That's what.
But how does he do that? He doesn't have the ability to do that. A tariff can't apply to services. That's considered a service.
Like, most of the stuff that he said, it could just very well be one of the, you know, like, hey, look over here, jangling keys kind of thing, because that they love to do.
I mean,
get
put it
riled
back.
up about this so they can do this other thing.
Rewind time 30 years ago. Maybe you could tariff the actual film reels being transported overseas or something like that. But like, they don't even need to do that anymore.
But the thing about it is, if you think about it, if you put 100% tariff on a film reel, that's going to mean nothing. That is nothing. That is such a tiny thing. Like the reason why tariffs work on larger industries is because you're bringing in so much of it. So like you're bringing in millions of pounds of something every single year. So you're tariffing that thing on millions of pounds versus one reel of a movie coming in. Like that doesn't make any sense. I mean, you could try and tariff studio lights being transported in, but they don't even use that many of those. That's a negligible, like, even if you 100% that, it's a negligible tariff. Like, essentially what he would be doing is saying, like, you don't have the right to take a job in another country. That's essentially what it would be. Studios, like, American companies now, like, he's trying to say, like, studios, including ones that he probably has a good relationship with, now we're going to charge you to film a Japanese movie that's got Japan in it in Japan to be released in Hollywood. How do you even quantify the value of that? Like, it's all estimated value because you're not paying for that stuff up front. A lot of times you recoup all of that in sales, so it's a estimated amount. This is why when Hollywood goes, this movie might make 80,000 domestic this opening weekend. We don't know until it happens. So are you tariffing the final amount that the movie makes, or are you tariffing the production of the movie? Like, how is it going to work? There's no way for this to work. It's the most batshit crazy thing. It doesn't make any sense.
What I think it does reveal, though, is that, you know, the same thing that we've been saying, like the reason that these guys go after these movies in particular, the guys we normally talk about, because Trump admitted that, like, oh, it's propaganda, it's anti-American propaganda that they're making or whatever. And it's like, okay, whatever. So, but basically what he's saying is that he's afraid of media calling out what's happening in the U.S. right now.
Yeah.
He's afraid of art that will fucking criticize the Trump regime.
I mean, do these guys even realize, like, the nerdrotics and the heel versus baby faces of the world realize that their content would then be tariffed if this happens? Like,
Well,
he could go as far to say, oh, well, I'm going to tariff YouTube now. You know what I mean? Like,
no, they don't, because you know what Nerdrotics stream today was named? It was titled Trump Saves Hollywood.
right. So what happens when nerdrotics viewers outside of the U.S. have to pay an extra 100% on any service they use to watch his videos? What is he going to do then?
Oh my God. No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
what about the guy, man? Hey, look at this. What up, Malachi?
Hello there.
Hey.
Hello. And welcome.
yeah,
Oh.
oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just saying, hentai is going to be, it's going to be.
Yeah.
The thing is, I did a lot of research on this because I was going to make a video on it, and it's just so much to unravel. I just gave up because there's a lot of people out there that do this kind of analytical stuff, much better than I do.
I think you laid it out pretty good there, which is what you said. That I didn't even think about those things really.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, is it tariffs on projected amounts? Like, if Hollywood goes, hey, I have to now pay $200 for a $100 movie, but we might make $2 billion, so we don't
Right.
care. You know what I mean? Like, the thing is, in his tweet, which I don't think we have it up on the screen, but in his tweet, he talked about why people go to other countries. He said they offer incentives for people to film in their countries. So
He does know there's incentives to work in America as well.
there
Like,
is,
right?
but the thing is, he doesn't want to make it juicier for people to work here. So instead of going, we're going to offer better incentives so that benefits our country, it benefits growth, it benefits small businesses, it benefits workers in America. Instead of offering more incentives for the rest of the world to come here and work, he goes, we're going to tariff our own people, essentially, so that they make less money if they don't take the more expensive route of making films. That is essentially what he said.
Yeah.
The other thing that I find
Hold on.
like
Oh, you beat me to
go
it.
ahead.
Yeah.
The movie
so,
industry, the
Go
movie
ahead.
industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States.
Right.
Hollywood and many other areas within the USA are being devastated. This is a concerted effort by other
a
nations.
national
and
security threat.
Therefore, a
What
national
fucking
security
planet?
threat. It
What
is
planet?
in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda.
And-
Therefore, I'm authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representative to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America. Oh
So-
my fucking God, this is just unhinged. This is...
The UK gets 25% of their initial budget back as rebate and duty passing. Right, and we could do something like that here. Like, we could offer better
Yeah.
incentives for people to come here. But let's just look at the second half of this, right?
Yeah.
So, the United States Trade Representative, filmmaking is not part of the trade industry at all. There's nothing in there that's part of the trade industry. You can't tariff a trade industry that doesn't exist. Filmmaking is not trade. It's a different thing altogether. And also here, I want to point out. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
I was just going to say, the last sentence drives me nuts. We want movies made in America again. I don't know if he's aware of this, but there's this town called Hollywood.
Well, let me
They
just go
produce
through.
a lot of movies.
Let me go back to the glory days of America when movies were made in America, because that's what he wants, right? He wants the glory days.
Yeah.
So let's take some of the biggest hits of movies made in Hollywood that were, spoiler alert, not actually made in America. Lawrence of Arabia, 1963. Massively popular film, was filmed in Jordan, Morocco, and Spain. The Sound of Music from 1965 is famously filmed in Austria. Dr. Zhivago from 1965 was filmed in Spain and Finland. Out of Africa, Surprise was filmed in Kenya. Gladiator was filmed in England, Morocco, and Malta. The Third Man was filmed in Austria. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was filmed in Spain, Italy, Jordan, Germany, and even more other countries outside of the United States. The Godfather Part 2, filmed in Italy and the Dominican Republic. Casablanca from 1942 was partially filmed outside of the U.S. So not all of it was filmed outside of the U.S. But all of those are old-ass movies, with the exception of Gladiator, which is probably the most recent one, that were historically considered classics from Hollywood that were not filmed in America. I just want to put that out there.
He's specifically targeting anime. I mean, it's not a law. It's not even anything. Like, it's not anything.
It couldn't be a law. Like, that's the thing is even the idea of this is going to land in court. Like, if he tries to implement this, it will land in court. And just like it's been happening a lot recently, he will lose. Like he did with the Supreme Court. He lost his case in Maine. What was it? One of the other cases he had that he lost recently. I read a bunch of them today. But yeah, all of these things are illegal. It's all illegal. And the reason why he does these things so quickly is because that's the way he rules. He like executive order, and some of them will stick. He just throws out as many of them as he can, and then some will stick. This is dumb, though. This doesn't make any sense. And then his brain dead fucking old ass Hollywood decrepit fucking Dracula looking motherfuckers like John Voight get out here in front of an American flag looking disgusting as fuck, trying to sound like they know what they're talking about when they haven't made a good movie in 5,000 years. Sit the fuck down. The reason why you want him to do this is because you can't get a fucking job.
Yeah. No,
there's more to stop it. There's huge companies based in UK and Budapest that are totally built around these incentives. So there's huge oven-ready crews in these countries that cost less.
Yeah, and the way we should be fighting back against that is implementing incentives for people to want to make movies here. But that's the whole problem with tariffs. None of those incentivize or assist in building up American businesses. None of them do that.
Now, I don't know what his angle is here. Like
control.
Yeah, that's the only angle I could think of. Yeah,
I mean,
just wants control.
It has to be
It's
like information
baffling,
control, right? Like,
yeah.
If
well, he said propaganda. That was the big word.
Yeah.
So what propaganda? If we're making American movies in other countries, then we're getting American propaganda. Mm-hmm. What other propaganda would there be? He's talking about American films being made in other countries that are coming back to America.
If we make a film like in some other country, then we have a shady agreement with that country that we're going to make some anti-American messaging in that movie.
Considering there's more pro-American military movies in existence than any other country in the world.
Yeah, look up anything by Michael Bay.
Realistically, like the only argument I feel like you could even make is occasionally films that try not to like specifically trash a particular country. Obviously, China being the one that people talk about the most. Mm-hmm. But I mean, even then, like it's not pro-Chinese Communist Party messaging. It's literally just like, let's not touch anything to do with them sort of shit, which is like fair to criticize, but it's not like Americans are watching American media that's also getting shown in China and being like, oh, you know what? Maybe China is this glorious democracy and like bastion of human rights, you know? Like Americans are already anti-China. Like we've already established that's not going to change.
People on the internet that definitely have found that pathway where they are definitely praising China, but you know,
I'm sure there's some slimy way that he wants to use the term tariff, but then do something shady to Hollywood that isn't actually a tariff, but say that it's a tariff because he loves that word right now.
What was he saying through the campaign for a couple of years before he won again, which is that he was going to be retaliating, revenge, all this stuff. And it's like, so this is very likely several different motives for this, which is that, as somebody mentioned in chat a minute ago, he was snubbed by Hollywood. You know, I mean, he noticed he didn't get any work after the Home Alone 2 cameo.
But I think the director's gone on record saying that he hates the fact that he's even in that movie.
Oh yeah, the director has gone on record. Chris Columbus has gone on record and said if he could, he would edit Trump out.
Yeah,
that'd
be pretty funny. Just like random guy tells him.
That is one of the things that's really frustrating, though, is that like Trump never means what he's actually saying. Like any word that he says could mean anything else. And so then you'll get like people being like, okay, it makes absolutely no sense to tariff movies. What on earth is that even like? Yeah. What is that supposed to legally mean? And then eventually like one of his supporters will find some like vague way to twist the words to me. Oh, if he uses tariff in this very particular way. By the way, we don't care about definitions anymore. We do with trans people, but not in any other capacity. And you know, so they'll like twist this whole thing, and then that will become the right-wing narrative. I wish I had a very specific example off the top of my head, but I don't. But like that's been a thing.
That will be the right-wing narrative until Trump specifies it. Then they'll change their narrative to fit whatever the fuck Trump says, because that's all they fucking do.
Well, and if one of them gets popular, Trump will just like repeat it, and that will become his thing. You know, he'll be like, "Oh, I've been seeing people online saying I'm right because of this legal theory they invented 5 minutes ago."
Right.
And you're like, "Okay, well, I guess that's right-wing."
Right. This is WNG fan. This is what I was about to say too. Is think about the fact that he's already shown that the tariff thing is fucking flimsy bullshit, and he will fucking immediately go back on that shit. Like, it's just he thinks he's like a little dog that's barking, thinking it looks like a badass. You know, that's what he comes off like with these tariffs now. I mean, yeah, there's going to be some problems, but like, you know, he went back on what? How much of the tariffs that he initially announced?
I mean, he's paused most of them, and the thing is, they're supposed to come back, I think, at the end of the month, but a lot of people suspect that's not going to happen.
Filming $1 Billion Spy on your street with Russell Crowe and was talking to an AD who said it's the most talented cruise on the planet that costs peanuts. The U.S. needs to build that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is
yeah,
tariffs. So the logical fallacy behind all of this is that tariffs will incentivize people to do things that they could have been doing already, right? So he is forcing people financially to do what he wants, but not incentivizing them to do it. So he wants us to make iPhones here, but he doesn't want to spend money from the government to build those factories at a rapid pace.
It would
so
cost
he puts
like thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. But the thing is, if he truly believed in that, the tariff would be the second step. The first step would be to spend money in infrastructure to have those things made quickly, because it takes about 10 to 15 years to build factories and make those kinds of things. He doesn't care about that.
Papcast a while back, all these tariffs, this tariff thing that he's been trying to do is like, it's just bullying people into submission, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, he put tariffs on the, like, you know, different law firms or whatever. And
he lost the lawsuit on that, by the way, too.
I saw that. Yeah. Microsoft actually was. I found out Microsoft was one of the ones that their law firm that they were working with to buy Activision Blizzard. They apparently capitulated to Trump, and so Microsoft fucking said, "Fuck you, we're out of here." And then they went to another law firm that actually was not capitulating to Trump. So, you know, based Microsoft.
Yeah.
Feels weird to say that.
Yeah.
Look, like at a certain build a wall. Right, exactly. He does. Yeah. Like, there's no process behind it. When he sat down with Prime Minister Carney the other day, a reporter asked him what kind of concession he would need from Canada to drop this trade issue with them and start rebuilding everything we had with them that he destroyed pretty much. And he said, "We just want to be friends." And the reporter was like, "That's not a concession." And he said, "We just want to be friends. We want to work together." And then he said that Canada doesn't buy a lot of stuff from us, when Canada is in fact the number one purchaser in the world of American goods.
Yeah, this is, I forgot about this. So maybe this was informed by these guys, or
and John Voight. It's John Voight too. Yeah, he was one of them. He made a video in front of a poorly hung American flag, talking googly gob, looking like somebody's fucking decrepit grandfather. Teeth falling out, motherfuckers. I'm so tired of these American flag bitches thinking, "Oh, I'm going to sit in front of the American flag and it validates my point of view." Shut the fuck up. And the thing is, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I mean, out of all of them, the only person, what is it, Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, and him, the only person that's worked multiple parts of the industry is Mel Gibson, and even he doesn't really know what the fuck he's talking about. So,
right, yeah, this was pretty fucking cringe to see him argue with that guy.
Yeah, that was dumb too, man.
Dude,
I don't know how anybody can, after the recent interviews he's been doing, I don't know how anybody can still not unironically support this dude. Like, I just don't see.
Oh God.
It's
we finally crossed the line.
He has MS-13 tattooed on his hand. It's like, oh my God.
In fact, I have a cultist right here that has some stuff to say recently. That this is not on his regular channel that we've watched before. This is on his second channel that I think he's maybe putting more focus into these days.
Oh.
But here is Mr. Griggs here.
I think we're on the cusp of something bad. And by the way, I'm not the first person that's said this, okay? So I'm not pretending that I'm the first person. But it feels like we're on the cusp of a race war. And I say that very reluctantly, because I don't really want that to happen.
Oh,
sure,
yes, you do. You do.
But it feels like
100%.
that.
The only reason to mention the possibility of a race war is that it's either already breaking out and it's just become clear that that's what's happening, or you want one to happen.
Or you want
You're
one to
stoking
happen.
the flames of it. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Anybody that's just like, I don't want it to happen, man. Look, but race war
Guys,
probably gonna happen.
Prepare. The guy with the Cobra Commander and Mario hoodie is talking about a race war. Get ready.
Well, and it's not like an I don't want it to happen as in like I'm gonna do something to stop. It's I don't want it to happen, so like you black people better
Exactly.
back down, better stop getting uppity type
Right.
shit,
Yeah.
Well, this is it. Like it's all stems from. I don't even know how he got to that. Honestly, I haven't watched the full video yet. I just know that it starts with that woman that called the the black kid the N-word or whatever, and that's where it starts from. So we can see where it goes from here.
That's exactly where we're heading. And it's all because of this woman right here in this viral video.
All because of her.
It's all because of Shiloh.
So
and
she's starting the
idea
race
that-
war? What the fuck?
Somebody recorded her with the intent to expose her,
Face.
and all it.
How does he know?
Okay.
Oh,
How does he know their intent?
I got
Okay,
something
so,
to say
like-
about this too, but go ahead, Bob. I got something to say about this.
I was just gonna say, like, we're seeing lots of reactions from the usual suspects like Jeremy Griggs, etc. Essentially making excuses for this woman saying the N-word to a kid. And to my understanding, the kid like stole something or something. So
Well, that was not.
that's
That was the
bad.
accusation. It was an accusation. It wasn't.
That's
wasn't
bad.
approved,
But
so.
also calling the kid the N-word is also bad.
That's exactly what I
These
said in
guys
my
make
video.
Fucking
Yeah.
Well, let's
excuses
hold up
for
and
it.
let's hold up and make sure we say that we don't even know for sure that he stole something.
No.
Well, not only that, like we're talking about a child where stealing is
Mhm.
not even
Yeah.
like a concept. You know what I mean? You're talking about
Well.
like you know what I mean? Like saying that a 5-year-old stole something is to say a 5-year-old saw a thing and picked it up. You know?
But it's a
Right.
little
Yeah,
black
true.
kid, so immediately she's going to be like, he tried to steal something
Well,
from me because he's a little black kid.
Well,
luckily
and she
he-
chased him around, right? That also happened.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Yeah.
his community were the voices of reason. I've got the comments here. So we've got. By the way, all this is sponsored by Meta PC. You use your discount code 199 to save on all purchases at Meta PC, who are sponsoring a fucking race war.
Right.
Good job, Meta PC.
Apparently.
Great job. Well, Meta PC is known for having like literally no fucking ethics. So it's
Apparently so.
Yeah, I can go and sign up for a Meta's PC sponsorship right now.
Like one
Anybody
of
can do
the
it.
one of the most liked comments is black fatigue is real.
Mm,
What she called him is 110% accurate.
mm.
13% fatigue, which those not aware, that's a reference to 1350, which is not. It's just
Well, it's not even a reference to. It's literally just 13% of the population. It's literally just fatigue. It's just black fatigue again. Like they're not even referencing like crime shit.
Well, the 13%, I guess, is somewhat accurate.
I love they say I don't care if she said a bad word, but then they're not going to say it themselves. It's really interesting to me when people do that. Like if you agree with what she did, then just go ahead and say it. Like there's no point. You're not even under a real account. This is somebody under a fake account. So
Let's see. So, you got a couple of people that are like, "Hey, that's kind of fucked up," and then they get dogpiled on and essentially called like animals. It was an animal.
It was. Oh my god.
I mean, the only thing is that this just justifies like the stance against this woman, because if you are saying that you are okay with her saying that word because it's not racist, but then go on to say things like call them animals and call this child different words and stuff like that, you're just reinforcing that that's what she meant by the word. It's not just a word. You understand what the word means.
It was a thief. Enough said. I mean, that speaks to like just a full disclosure here. One of my kids recently, we had a problem with the kid took some money that was in the house that was kind of just sitting around, and the kid took the money, and we're treating that pretty seriously, but like also understanding that like this is a kid that doesn't understand necessarily that this was not just their money to take, right? And so like we're having them do chores to make up for it, and talking about it all the time and stuff like that, and privileges are revoked and things like that, because it's something that kids need to learn. At 5 years old, I would not expect a kid to fully understand right or wrong on that level.
But we still don't even know if that happened. It's just her. It's hearsay. Like there's an investigation happening into this to find out what went down. The only thing they confirm is that she used a slur against the kid.
Here we
That's
go.
the only thing they can confirm.
Just straight up fucking misinformation about the violent crimes, and like never mind the fact that you can look at statistics all day long, and as accurate as they are, you're still not getting the full picture.
But even so, justifying using a slur against somebody because they don't make up more of the population is not a defense of that fucking word.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
It's like, oh, we can use slurs because it's a smaller percentage of our population. That's essentially why you're not supposed to be doing it.
Yep.
But look, I said in my video, I am not someone's personal language police. I'm not going to go around and chastise people for it. But this woman got recorded on video, and Jeremy said that she was. What did he say? Like he made it seem like it was something wrong with recording somebody without them consenting to being recorded.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you the amount of times they've talked about drag queens performing somewhere, or a gay person doing something, or a woman doing something that's been caught on video, where it's the question has never been whether or not they should have been filmed. Yeah. That's never been the question. But for some reason, this woman is exempt from that.
Well, because she's white.
Yeah, his whole argument was that she was filmed to make her look bad. And it's like, you know how she could have avoided that? Don't call the kid the fucking N-word.
Well, I mean, also, like, if she was already being filmed when she said the N-word, did she say something prior to that?
See you, rip-off verse. See you later.
Later on, rip-off verse. Have a good one, man. Let's see. So, like, and you can't fix it. Quoting fucking the Dilbert guy. Cool. That's a cool guy to quote.
Oh, God, yeah.
And then just like a lot of this, these kind of 13%, these types of virulent fucking, just bigot. These people are, if you guys have never seen the types of accounts, you probably haven't. This is why, the reason why there's such a stark divide in how people understand reality right now is because of algorithms. And the algorithm bias on their end is that there's a lot of accounts on, like, especially on Twitter, but I mean, they existed before Musk even, that all they do is post every single time across the country, maybe in the world, where there's some video of a black guy doing an assault or a black guy getting arrested. And they only post that shit, and they talk about how, look, this is what they do. This is how they are. And they don't post the many, many more times videos of white people doing the same shit. You know what I mean? They don't do that. And they just, that's what they're fucking being fed. So
yeah, like, do we need to start, like, compiling every instance of a white frat guy committing a sexual assault? Because in the last, like, couple of weeks, I can think of 3 locally. Like, it's not.
I mean, it's the same thing,
like,
though, with
really
libs of TikTok and like people doing assaulting children. There's a vast more majority of people in churches doing it, but they never share those. But like the once a year story about like somebody who's a drag queen or something that does something even remotely awful, they share that. I wanted to talk about this though. Did you guys see this clip yet?
No.
Okay. Check this out. It's a very short clip, but check this out. It's crazy. Look, it's going to be very eye-opening to where some extreme, like, right-wing people are in this moment. Because Piers Morgan, I think he was dipping his toes in, like, the MAGA stuff for a while. But slowly over time, he's realized just how quackadoodle, like, it all is.
Piers Morgan is just, like, cynical, man. I think he just
likes
to push whatever
But he is speechless in this moment. And you're going to see why. Watch this.
Why would you want to support a white racist?
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in a country.
No, that's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say.
Right.
She is. I mean, would you use the N word out of interest?
Yes.
Yeah. That's literally why she's famous.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
I'm surprised he doesn't know that. But let's go on here.
Wait, who is this?
I do quite.
I don't remember her name. Do you know
her name? Is Lily Gaddis. She was
That's
the
it.
TikToker who was like talking about broke ass N-words on TikTok.
Yeah, and she got popular for a moment with like the right wing, and then they just dropped her. They stopped supporting her after a while, right?
I stopped giving a shit about her. Yeah.
Look.
So,
Quite frequently.
You use the N word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist, are you?
Oh, Jesus.
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, but if you use the N word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way,
So you notice she says helping white people.
Well, I mean,
achieve freedom
it's such a stupid fucking argument. She's already proven she's allowed to say the fucking N-word. You just might get called a racist for that because it's a racist fucking word.
Yeah, other people can use their freedom of speech to to criticize you for that behavior. And if you're an asshole, you get more credit. Like, it's literally, they're just pro-censorship, right? They literally want to stop people from speaking out against them so that they can feel free to say whatever they want and nobody else feels free to criticize them.
Right.
Philo Hendrix is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away.
Probably
so you
for
were
harassing
saying,
a child.
Yes.
Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different
Sorry, but just
kind
to
of
be
thing.
clear, you just said to me you use the N word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
Oh my god.
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we
Rare
not
Piers
talking
Morgan
about Shiloh
W.
Hendrix? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think
racist?
you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no.
What was that?
That's a fresh and fit guy there.
I don't know, but he's awful quiet. Like
Right.
normally he's very loud mouthed.
Because he doesn't want to alienate his fan base.
Yeah,
saying what he
and
thinks.
look, the two blonde chicks on the end here, like the one next to her is look at her face right now.
Her
It's like
eyebrows
she
have
doesn't-
just stayed
She
like.
doesn't even know what to say. Here we go.
No problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist. And you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
How often do I agree with Piers Morgan?
Well, he's had a few. Like I said,
fair.
he's recently he's shifted a lot because I think he's reached a point where a lot of this is beyond what he is comfortable with. And I think racist behavior should be wrong for. Like everybody should feel that's wrong behavior. So the fact that he's agreeing with that is a low bar for me, but I still feel like he's kind of changed his opinion a little bit.
Well, I mean, I think
that chick. I wonder if she has Meta PC. Custom.
I mean, I do think, like, I wonder. My impression of Piers Morgan has always been that he's kind of like a normal jackass contrarian or whatever.
Yes, that's a good.
And I don't
yeah.
think that he's equipped for this kind of like, yeah, he's kind of cynical, but he's cynical in the way that he likes to be a problem causer or whatever. He likes to stir shit up, not in the like he likes to just be incredibly stupid for fun. You know what I mean? And like that's
hard to know where his line is because like he's right on this, but like when you hear him talk about trans stuff, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Reading from these studies that are just like have been proven to be bullshit."
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it's weird.
Well, W and G fan, I think the thing is that, and I think a lot of Democrats are starting to realize this. There's no escaping being in these environments. Like you have to go into them. You have to engage with them. Ignoring it is part of the reason why I think that we had trouble winning the election last year. So like pretending that and we've said this for a long time. All of us have talked about this. The same thing with the stuff here on YouTube to kind of rope it back into the stuff we talk about. For the longest time, I was like, I'll ignore it. It'll just go away. And it's not. You have to be able to. You can't. Not talking about it is not going to slow down its reach. Mm-hmm. It's going to continue to grow. So that you have to be willing to go into that. And so I don't have a problem, talking about Piers Morgan and what the takes that I agree with and disagree with. I think that's a fair assessment. I'm not saying he's a good person. I don't know him that well, but
Well, I think like that was kind of the thing back in like 2015 or 2014 to like 2019 YouTube or whatever, where a lot of people were kind of like, okay, we'll just like let them burn out and then we'll, and so like there weren't as many voices challenging them. And like the few people brave enough to do it were people who, for the most part, like didn't actually like respond. They basically just kept doing the same thing and not responding to the hate or barely responding to the hate,
My policy back then was to kind of ignore it because it was all kind of bullshit in my opinion, and it just I didn't.
We dropped the ball on that. I think we all should have been more vocal when all.
I think I should have been more vocal back then.
Not to be that guy, but once I started YouTube, I started it to do this in 2019 and then 2020. Like basically from then until I haven't heard it in quite a while, but I used to hear it a lot more, mainly when I was covering Comicsgate more. That I should just let them do their thing over in the corner and don't worry about them or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's not going to work, man.
They grew too big. Essentially, they invade my comments. I went, "Fuck."
I'm not saying this. I don't know. I'm not sure how you got that from my comment. I wasn't saying that. I'm saying that these panels, like if you looked at his panel, it's like usually a round table of different people, and I think it's important for people to engage in that space. I didn't say anything about it agreeing with the creationists. I'm just saying that like I think everybody needs to be present.
I think
in
they're
the way
saying.
they
I think
can
they're
say.
saying that peers would like interview creationists.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and, like agree with them sometimes.
I get that. That's why I said I'm not judging I'm not making a judgment value on peers.
Oh, sure.
I'm talking about people that are willing to go into those spaces and engage with people like her, because even though she's a crack, like she's a say crackpot, but I don't even know if that's an appropriate word anymore.
Russell Brand was right wing before the allegations, because he was already having like critical drinker and stuff like that on prior to the.
And they got schooled while they were there. Like they had people on there that are speaking from the opposite side. That if you like, this is one of the things in the comments a lot of times when I'm talking about critical drinker and nerdrotic. The reason why they don't go outside of their echo chamber is they clam up and they don't know what to say when they're confronted with their biases. So when you see like a Piers Morgan clip where he has people on that are in support of diversity and they challenge those guys, they don't really have a good response for that. So that's why people are like, oh, you should go in and talk to critical drinker. Why? Like I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but what purpose would that serve? He's not going to really have a meaningful conversation with me about how he feels.
They know who we are and they won't talk to us. It's as simple as that.
I will happily talk to them, but
I don't know
it's not
what currency is this. I'm sorry, I don't recognize this currency.
179. I have no idea what that symbol is.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know what it is. But anyway, thank you, Mad Max. It's on my channel. She's pretty loudmouth to be a trad conservative wife. That's the other thing that kind of shocks me is the women that go on these shows are arguing for traditional values, but they're literally doing things that are not considered a traditional value for a woman in those spaces. Well, Melanie Mack is a really good, look at her. She's arguing traditional stuff, but then she's preaching to people, which is very heavily looked down upon in most conservative spaces for women.
I mean, look how far they've gone at this point. Right now, they are literally defending just using the N-word. Right. Like that used to be unacceptable. Period.
Well, not just
using it. That was unacceptable.
Shouting it at children. Like it's not even. It's not even like the 2016. Hey, I'm not. I don't want to say it myself, but like I think it should be allowed for white people to say it, kind of shit. It's literally like, no, we want to harass children, especially on racial.
Based on that, we want to call for race war, sponsored by Meta PCs.
Yeah. Race war by Meta PC.
Matt Walsh is just straight up a grifter, man. He's so fucking pathetic.
Well, and he keeps getting he's all over the place recently. I've seen people in the right calling him out now because of the stuff he's saying. He's inconsistent. But that's the thing, is they're getting erratic because of the loss of viewership and money, which we called this out. They're losing value. Like Daily Wire is bleeding. It is a bleeding service.
Well, Neurotic and Critical Drinker are booming, aren't they?
Not so much. Wait till my next video should be out the end of this week. Wait till the next video.
Oh, nice.
More numbers.
Apparently, the runoff of what they used to get, we're getting that dispersed to us now, as well as other smaller channels, I think. So
yeah. Thanks, RX. It is what is that? Yuan, India rupee. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. So
I've never seen that
chat
before.
of 20 cents, I'm guessing.
No,
I have no idea, but thank you for it. Anyway.
it's about $2. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, you've been getting your videos blocked with anytime you mention you're talking about Melanie Mack. Right?
My recent one got blocked too. Yeah. Anytime I mention her name, it gets blocked.
That's crazy.
And I tried to
which
appeal
is
it.
Hilarious because Melanie Mack is apparently no problem.
No. Tabs on her right now. Is that what it is?
So Melanie Mack, I think, is whitelisted on some sites. Like she gets preferential treatment because on Twitter she doesn't get blocked on anything, and it seems on YouTube it's kind of the same thing. So
wild.
And I think it's worth going ahead and pointing out, looking over the YouTube terms of service. Technically, what Melanie Mack says would violate YouTube terms of service.
Oh, every
However,
video.
they even specify if you are to discuss what she says, that's not a violation.
Right.
Weird.
So the last video that I made about her, not this most recent one, but the one prior to this, used actual like a video clip from YouTube, and her video is not blocked. I checked it; it's not, but mine is. And they said mine was it was a community violation. It was a advertiser violation. And I'm like, so I'm discussing the same topic she's discussing. Somehow my discussion of those topics is not advertiser friendly, but hers are fine.
Yes. That's not a double standard. Don't worry.
Are there any neutral? I mean, no, there's really no such thing as a neutral channel in this case. But I mean, nonetheless, it wouldn't happen. We've called for it. We've asked for it. That's what the initiative came together originally to do. Essentially, was part of it, and they just won't.
I've been on channels where I've ran into like sort of pseudo chud stuff, like people in passing. But I've never gone in there with the intention to debate anyone. It's usually just like they show up and I happen to be there. Which, by the way, I've held my own in any of those interactions. So I'm not.
I think the reason is because like for the longest time, anybody that they would engage with was like, kind of coming at them from the perspective, and it's understandable from the perspective of like, I'm going to prove you're a bigot, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just gets really kind of dicey to try and prove in any kind of substantive way in a conversation. Yeah. They can really wiggle out of that. But whenever you're like, here's a fact about something that you said versus something else you said, or here's a video of you saying this thing that's like, and that's the kind of stuff that we started doing.
I think like you can't go from the shame angle. You can't go from the like, I look down on you, you're an asshole kind of thing. Because they know that's their appeal. I think it works a little bit, oddly enough, coming from Piers Morgan, but only because he is already so much the other way. So like right wingers can do that to each other a little bit, but you have to come from the like flat out, here's dishonesty or here's like a failure in logic kind of shit. Because
do you think it's right wingers do it because they're appealing to their own party's values or their own community's values? Is that why? Or
I think there's a little bit of that, but then there are instances where one individual like has a little bit of a conscience in a situation and is like, okay, wait, this is going too far, and it means a little bit more than like some like liberal Democrat saying, hey, you've gone too far. Not to say that it's like, that it's changing a whole lot of hearts and minds, but like I would imagine that like a conservative watching Piers Morgan say that is much more likely to buy than like seeing, I don't know, Trevor Noah saying that.
Oh,
wait,
it took him 2 weeks to talk about
did he
sinners.
Actually talk about sinners?
I think
he tweeted about it pretty quickly.
Oh, that's it.
I don't know if he videoed about it.
I didn't see a video.
Drinker's such a piece of shit.
Danu here, Danu Vox with a $2 super chat on my channel. Thank you, Danu. YouTube only applies the rules when convenient. That's true. And
yes,
I think that one of the things we have to keep an eye on moving forward is when the bigger channels, and I think Critical Drinkers already got hit with didn't he get like a copyright claim from HBO for his Last of Us?
Yes, I saw that they started doing the victim narrative. Griggs was doing the victim video about that. The Critical Drinkers being targeted.
I think we're going to see it happen more and more often as those channels start to lose their gusto a little bit, because right now a lot of them are immune because they pull in a lot of views and money for YouTube. The minute they start to dip under a certain amount, YouTube is going to start honestly applying the terms of service to them. So
it's so frustrating to me because on the one hand, I don't like that studios can like copyright strike you for shit that's obviously like within fair use or whatever. Like, you're certainly not getting the experience of watching The Last of Us, watching a Critical Drinker video, because watching The Last of Us is enjoyable. But
yes,
but like it's like I don't
art.
I don't like that is like the angle that's taken or whatever. But then on the same token, like Council of Geeks gets struck down all the time by the BBC for copyright for obvious like fair use shit. And it's obviously like because she's just like a smaller channel is not going to get affected by it. So I'm like, I don't feel bad. You're not being targeted for it. Small like lefty channels have been getting this for years. You are only getting the same shitty rules applied evenly across the board. Although I suppose that's not really the energy they'll take from it. But
I think this is a good question that we could all probably each answer in our own way. Just to kind of restate that in case anybody's unclear. Like for me personally, I started because I just recognized that there was a lot of misinformation, just untrue things being said about comics in general. I had a Facebook group in like 2018, 2019 that I was manager of or whatever. And it was like Marvel and stuff like that, just posting crap. And I wasn't even reading comics at the time. I hadn't read them in a few years at that point. And then I started seeing stuff just being said about like SJW Marvel and all this shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck are they talking about? They're ruining these characters. And I'm like, wait, what's happening? And I check it out and I start reading some comics and I'm like, it's not even true. Like in many cases, this is some really good comics here. They were introducing new characters. They were, doing the thing that I've always known Marvel in particular to be, which is, inclusive and fighting for, people to not be alienated and stuff like that. It didn't seem like anything out of the norm for me. And that's where I kind of stumbled into Comicsgate and what that's all about. And, you know, Ethan Van Sciver, who I was a fan of at one point, and I realized, oh, he's doing this shit now. Gross. You know, and from there, it was just like, I eventually found out about the Fandom Menace guys, the movie versions of that same shit. And I just, I mean, yeah, of course, we'd want them to not be doing what they're doing. I don't think that any of us have any delusions that we're going to make that go away anytime soon. But personally, I just think that it's although it's hard to keep them in mind because you don't actually see them, and I do hear from them occasionally, but no, not as much as I'd like to. There are individuals that their lives get fucked up by this stuff. You know, people that I don't know, never will know, and I'm just hoping that, you know, the content we do can help, you know, act as a net a little bit to some of those people that might, you know, fall towards that content and stop them and go, oh, wait a second, that shit's all a bunch of bullshit, and they're trying to feed me a bunch of crap. You know, I don't know. That's just where I'm at with it.
Kind of where my goal, like in my dream world, what would happen is if somebody out in the wild mentioned a Nerdrotic video or a Critical Drinker video, somebody would say to that person just instinctively, oh, that person's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Because they literally are, but people take them seriously because they're so popular. The fact is, these guys are fucking jokes. I want them to be treated, frankly, as fucking jokes, because that's what they are.
So, yep.
Is it my turn? I mean, I have two channels. I focus a little bit on both channels. My other channel, I'm totally okay having fun talking about movies and TV shows, which is something that I prefer doing, to be honest. I kind of like talking about things that I love. But I would love to see YouTube sort of enforce their terms of service a little bit on these channels. I'm not saying that everyone needs to have their channel removed or they need to be banned or blocked or demonetized, but YouTube either needs to like own up to their own terms of service or do away with them altogether. So at least we know what the field is that we're playing on, because I get hit with blocks and stuff all the time by YouTube. Doesn't get applied to everybody. So I hate that. I would love for the culture to shift a little bit. I think we need to be really honest about that because they are not shy about saying that they want the culture to change. I would like to see the culture change. I'd like to see people be a little bit less negative about everything and start to enjoy content again, because I believe that a big portion of the fan base has been indoctrinated by these channels. I believe that these channels have cultivated this kind of community, and I think people are letting them speak for that, like letting these channels speak for how they feel about things. And I know that's true for some people, because I have actually encountered and interacted with people who were heavily involved with these channels, like in terms of support and stuff, and literally stopped and said, yeah, there's stuff that I don't like, but not everything is shit. And they understand that now they've been fed like lies from these guys. So ultimately, that's what I would like to see. And if ultimately, you know, that makes me change the kind of content on my channel, then I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, and I guess to go ahead and add on to mine, and then Edge, your turn. But like, what I want is almost like a YouTube space, more like what I walk into, where yeah, there's kind of a toxic element, but like it's mostly just fandoms talking about things we love. That's what I want. I want to make a video about a fucking Marvel movie and not hear anything about feminist Kevin Feige or SJW agenda or any garbage like that in the fucking comments.
None of us are naive to think that like toxicity is new to fucking fandom or anything. I think all of us have been around long enough to know that's not the case. But that it being cynically deployed and weaponized in the way that it is to take advantage of the way the YouTube algorithm works, to kind of build this what we call anti-fan communities. Anti-fan, these are fans are people that engage with something because they like it, or even if they're critical of it and they want to talk shit on it sometimes, that's part of it. Anti-fans are someone who, they're people that don't really have any intention of trying to enjoy the thing, yet they're going to talk about it, they're going to shit on it, they're going to tear it apart, they're going to go after the actors and the actresses and the, for various bad faith and sometimes bigoted reasons, often bigoted reasons. They're the kinds that are going to have a channel about, doing about everything's gone woke and stuff like that, and how the Last Jedi ruined, Kathleen Kennedy ruined Star Wars, but then they're also going to have another channel where they call for race wars, sponsored by Meta PC.
Right.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it really is a good term. But this point, I don't know if you're kind of just not aware or what, because I encounter people talk about Nerdrotic and
Drinker like in the
Drinker
wild.
has the most subscribers of any movie channel on YouTube.
Yeah, save probably Cinema
Maybe.
Sins.
And Nerdrotic has the most popular podcast in terms of like the fandom. So it doesn't really get any higher than those two guys.
Or kind of part of me wonders if maybe you're not just kind of, trying to field defense for him. Hope not, but
I mean, I can't tell you number of times I will be like, talking to a woman that I'm in early stages of, possibly dating. And like, I'll mention, one of the things I do on YouTube is, debunk people like Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic. And they're like, oh yeah, those people are terrible. That'll usually be the response. Not, who are they? No.
I thought you were going to tell a story about some chick that you started dating and she's like, yeah, fuck those woke. And then I was going to be asked, did you go ahead and do it, Bob?
I filter those out early on because that you do encounter women when you're going through where it's like, oh fuck.
I mean, who walks around talking about the YouTubers they watch? And it's the thing is that they don't just watch. This is the real problem. They don't just watch Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker. They're watching a whole lot of other content in other contexts, not just movie and media stuff, but like they're watching Daily Wire crap. They're watching all these right-wing
One American News Network.
But this is also an unmeasurable thing. Like this makes no sense. Like what are we talking about here? I mean, if we're not talking about YouTube viewers and subscribers, then what conversation are we having? Oh geez.
Yeah.
I would not.
What you? Malachi?
Oh yeah, so I guess I think it's generally speaking, it's pretty unreasonable to expect that like you're going to get a significant drop in like subscriber base for a lot of these people. That kind of has to just happen organically or whatever. And a lot of the people, like the main goal for me, I mean, like fundamentally is to reduce toxicity in fandom spaces, like full stop. This includes people who are like ostensibly like progressive or whatever, and are angry at this, that, or the other writer for whatever reason. I don't know exactly what an end goal looks like because I don't think that that's necessarily achievable. My like long-term thing would be that people spend less time getting their opinions from the internet and from like these sort of space. You know what I mean? It's like why, I think as much as people joke about it or whatever, like touch grass is such a big deal. Like I used to be much more engaged with a lot of the like anti-fan stuff or whatever. And like, I had to like watch every single new video to like debunk it or to criticize it or whatever. And realizing like, okay, that shit's not super healthy. And I would feel embarrassed admitting this in real life. Now you take a step back and you're like, okay, I have problems with this. Occasionally I go and I dip into it. Here's what I do. This is kind of like a side hobby for me. People think that's funny or entertaining. Which I guess I'm getting a little bit off topic here, but I guess like ultimately I just want for people to be able to have conversations about media in healthy and appropriate ways, more like you would have them in real life. Which I know is not necessarily an actionable goal, but you guys have already discussed actionable goals. So, and for whoever the current Doctor Who showrunner is at any point to be able to sleep at night, because good God, are we terrible to them.
And whatever women or people of color star in the next Star Wars, they should not be worried about getting called all kinds of shit.
I've started referring to anybody in that category as just like whatever demographic they are as an unapproved gay person or unapproved black person, basically to hammer home the point. So anytime it comes up, I'm always like, oh yeah, and of course they're going to be going after this unapproved whatever person. Which I don't know exactly how that what to call that rhetorically, but I feel like that's been my approach recently.
It's tongue in cheek. I don't know what it's called rhetorically though. But like, yeah, no, I mean to just kind of put a button on it's my thing. I used to say this a lot more on my channel. It got to where it was kind of like, I don't know, people would take issue with it and I would have to try and explain it. I don't want to do that, but ambassadors, not gatekeepers was my tagline for a long time, as in like, and this is how we run the server that we have, the community server. Is why waste your time shitting on something that you don't like to someone else who likes that thing, or trying to prevent someone who might be interested in something from getting into that thing, even if you don't personally like it. I guess that's maybe a far-fetched, impossible goal I have, is just to see a lot less of that. just like the ambassador thing means like if you've read a bunch of comics and you think this title and this creative team sucks, but then somebody asks you, hey, what do you think about this? Like, why don't you just say you might like it, man? You might like this. Here, try it out, or whatever. Instead of just like, this fucking sucks, and my opinion is be all end all. And I don't know. I just feel like that's the
best
genesis of toxicity right there.
Yeah, the best thing is to just pretty much, if you don't like something, explain why you don't like it, and then maybe somebody will be like, "Well, I like that aspect," and it's like, "Oh, well, maybe you'll have a different opinion." But like, yeah, I mean, that's the way art is.
One of the things that I have like really learned in recent years is that even stuff that I think is as close as I can possibly call it to like objectively bad or whatever, which I know is like kind of an incredibly nebulous term, but like as close as that comes. Take some, I don't know, like Rise of Skywalker, whatever, is that there are like individual elements in any of those pieces of art that can speak to a particular person's experience or enjoyment or whatever in a way that you just cannot argue your way out of. You can't tell them they're wrong because they can acknowledge, they can say, I agree that it has all of these problems, but like my dad did this when I was young, and it's so happy to see like somebody else with that experience, or like that sort of thing.
Most of the people watching and all of us here, I think we'd all agree that Rise of Skywalker is a shit film, and we want to say objectively bad, but try and tell that to a Raylo fan. You know what I mean? Like one of these Raylo people, right?
Yeah,
like they're going to fucking murder you for saying that shit.
And I've already brought up, and I think we've discussed, like there are positive aspects. I think visually that movie looks.
Oh, it's a beautiful film, yeah.
And then, like, I like the interplay between the three as written, Rey, Poe, and Finn. I like their interplay. But yeah, it's still shit. I don't like that movie, but
no, that's what
there is positive aspects.
An extra frustrating thing about it is it does look so good that, like, while you're watching it, it feels like I should be feeling more than I am, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Here, got another some more rupees here.
Oh, is that on my channel?
I guess so. It's not on mine.
Oh, it's Mad Max again. Yeah, probably is then. After ignoring them, I found great shows like Alice in Borderland, Sex Education, and Dark. With their prejudices, they are a bit complex and niche for them. Well, the thing is, I fully believe that a lot of these guys don't really understand media. I think they became like, I don't even know how to maybe describe how I feel about this, but the stuff they say comes across so surface level. Most of the time it doesn't go any deeper than it's a woman who says things I don't like, therefore it's intersectional feminism. Like that's really what it is. So when you find these shows, like I actually think Sinners is probably too complex for them, which is why they haven't discussed it. I think there's a lot of discussions about, not only culture and race, but religion. There's a lot of stuff about religion in that film that they don't even fully understand. So I'm not shocked. I'm glad that you got away from them. I see this a lot on my channel. People that run into me because I show up in some of these other sort of like places on YouTube, and they follow me here and stuff, and they talk about breaking away from these guys. I think it's important. I say this a lot. I want to reiterate it though. At a certain point at the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, I thought it was a lost cause. I said it on the podcast many times that a lot of these guys that watch the channels are gone. They can't be changed. They're completely lost. And over the last year or so, I've noticed that I was absolutely wrong about that. I take a big L on that one because there's so many people that were and in some ways are still watching these guys, but realize that they're not being honest. They're being very disingenuous, and they're grifty and they're scammy. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the super chat.
So kind of on the like they don't understand media thing, this might be this might be a dumb little like story, and I apologize if the people who were saying this are watching. I'm sorry. You guys are fine. But I remember watching a while back like a YouTube video or a podcast or whatever talking about the upcoming, at that point, Book of Boba Fett show, and like what their predictions were and what they really wanted for it. And at least a couple of them were like, oh my God, it'd be so cool if Boba Fett climbed out of the Sarlacc pit, he got out of there, and in the wreckage of Jabba's sail barge was the only survivor, Jabba's son, Rada the Hutt, and gave this whole like thing about whatever. That was like I was reading or listening to this and thinking, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my goddamn life. Like, what in the world? Okay. But a lot of the like anti-fan stuff or whatever is basically that level of thinking, except you're an idiot if you don't want that. Like these guys or whatever, like dudes on a podcast talking about what they want for Boba Fett. Who cares? Who gives a shit? But that is like the mindset of of this sort of stuff. It's a complete misunderstanding of the media that they're interested in discussing. It's in no way connected to like the reality of that media's story or that history or anything like that. And also you are the enemy if you don't want what they want out of it.
But yeah, speaking of their ability to analyze media, and Sinners was brought up, and I think that's a great point. But I think another one to even bring up would be Thunderbolts, because Thunderbolts, yeah, silly comic book movie, but you know what? Like, as someone who has reached that rock bottom moment, as you get older, many people have experienced that rock bottom moment. As someone who's experienced that, Thunderbolts spoke to me in a very powerful way. It was a very good movie, in my opinion. I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's better than Sinners, but it's really fucking good. Highly recommended.
So, Mike, I mean, I don't know if you missed when we said this, man, but like, it's not a problem that people want to talk about what they don't like. That's fine. The thing is it's not people saying they don't like things. It's how people discuss things that they don't like. It's essentializing someone who does like something that you do like or don't like, and consider like how EFAP essentially goes around, finding smaller channels that are just like fucking mind their own business. Like, oh, I like Mandalorian or whatever, or I like the Black Widow movie or something. They'll make 3 or 4 hour videos just like roasting that person, just like talking mad shit on them, calling them the R word and all this stuff just for liking a thing. That's the problem. That's the toxicity that we're talking about. It's not we're not saying nobody's allowed to not like anything.
I mean, that was the reason why I got started. I talked about this before, like the whole idea of She-Hulk. Like, I was making my own She-Hulk videos and having fun watching the show, and all of a sudden, these guys from fucking Nerdrotic's channel found my channel and started attacking me. No, we haven't talked about him yet. I haven't even mentioned his name.
That's fucking amazing. That's amazing. Do you have Eric? Do I have bots or something? Is that what this is? That's
he
crazy.
Pops up like his, like, I swear to God, like, if you mention him once in a video, like, all you do is cover him. It's like, I haven't done an Eric July video in like 6 months.
Well, he lost another 1,000 subscribers.
All you do is talk about him.
In a week's time, he's lost another 1,000 subscribers. So it's like, I don't really know if it's even worth discussing.
I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned I guess the last one I watched where you talked about him. You mentioned that how crazy it is that people are unsubscribing to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At a rate that's thousands of people.
Let's see. Do I think Bob? I mean, I hope not. I think Bob has more. Not this Bob, the Thunderbolts Bob. I mean, Rick Jones just kind of became like the journeyman of Marvel, where it's like, oh, we need somebody to do a thing. Let's give him these powers this week.
Yeah.
It would actually be a pretty fun show if they did that, like a Rick Jones show where he just goes around like and they kind of repeat all of the stuff he's been through in the comics history, which is everything.
I would like to think that
Sentry is a different character. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see, based on, without spoilers, I guess. I mean, I know we've kind of passed beyond that at this point, but I would like to see Sentry become more of like a storyline on like the person who battles and wins against their depression. Like he's able to overcome it, and because in the comics, at least the runs that I've read, that's kind of been the struggle: is how far can he go without going too far, and how to embrace the darkness in him without pushing it away. So I'm hoping that's what they do in Marvel. I hope he's not a joke character. I mean, I feel like they're going to take it seriously from
that'd be pretty funny. Where he's like, he was there every time and we just didn't see him or whatever.
Oh, there'd be so many people pissed off about that it wasn't Deadpool that got that option.
Oh, that's
is it?
Don't capitalize that L. Don't give him that. I demand nobody give him that. It's so fucking obnoxious. Don't do it.
Well, I think it's very important that you pronounce it Mahler.
I actually, so what I think is happening, from what the little bit of studying I've done on this and research, is I think people are picking the ones they want to watch and just doing away with the ones they don't. So you're going to see some people's subscribers kind of plateau and kind of stick where it is. And then you're going to see others that are just going to keep bleeding and bleeding and bleeding subscribers. So,
wait, if Mahler's losing subs, does that mean we're going to get another 5-hour video series on The Last Jedi? Like, it's something to...
Back to the well.
Or is it going to be a new thing? He's going to be like, whatever, like She-Hulk. Oh my God. And then the blood spills into her blood. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on here? Oh my God. What the fuck?
What's been going on? There's
a
been
24-hour video.
Lots of what?
Rags content. Malachi, you had some Rags content, and then like Anthony Amelia had some Rags content last night.
Mm-hmm.
Rags is making the rounds. You know?
Yeah, I'm definitely curious about whether or not he's going to like respond to or acknowledge it. Like, first of all, and this is really bizarre to me. At least the last time I checked, my video on him had like about 1/5 of the views of his, which is not necessarily a testament to my incredible quality, but more just interesting to me that like it seems to really only be his like dedicated fans that are like, you know, showing up to watch this stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing is Rags has a few fans, but like really most people that are fans of Rags are fans of Mahler.
And maybe that's not the most fair comparison because he barely ever uploads on there. Like, I'm not trying to suggest that like how many viewers Rags has is like evidence of some huge shift or whatever. But it is interesting. I'm kind of surprised that as many people are like picking up on that specific video or whatever, because I don't think it's actually that impressive. I mostly just like saw it and was like, this is bad. Like, I went and checked the comments on Skitty Bitty's video and was like, oh geez, these people are like insane and horrible. Why don't we like at least try to shift things a little bit? But I don't know. I'm definitely curious to see if they're going to like respond to that or make any sort of a like deal out of it. Doesn't need to be responding to me, although I guess Rags is one of my favorite subscribers, so I should probably be.
You know what? What's funny is that Rags has been subscribed to me, and I'm pretty sure you too, Bob. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's subscribed.
Like a long time, like a long time before I think I ever covered him. I realized, oh, Rags is subscribed to me. So I think that's just what he does. Like he sees people that are making content, probably because they're looking for someone to, you know, make a lolcow of or whatever. Like somebody that's, oh, this new channel is coming up and they're saying things against what we think, so I'm going to subscribe to them and follow what they do.
No, I totally think that's what, I mean, that was basically what I said to him is I was like, if you're looking for content, I guess, here you go. But I would not recommend that necessarily because you look insane.
So not arguments. It's just so like literally the thing that he does every single fucking time is say he tries to find ways to call people stupid in what he clearly thinks are very clever ways. Right? Like but that's essentially all he does is just call you stupid.
Dude, the comments on that were blowing my mind because he made some joke about how like your IQ is in the double digits, and the comments were full of people being like, I lost it at that. Oh my god, that was the funniest thing ever. I'm like, are you serious? That's like the oldest joke. God damn it. But no, I was impressed having not really watched like full videos of Mahler's before, or sorry, not Mahler, Rags. Like I've just not been super engaged with him. But like actually watching the full video and realizing like he does the same thing he does on live streams where he'll just forget what the first half of the sentence was and go off on a whole unrelated tangent or whatever. I had a guy that responded to that, like he made a response video to me or whatever, which I will be responding to that probably like Friday or whatever. But that was like complaining about the fact that my video was so much shorter than Rags's and so like it was unfair. Yeah. Like he literally went on a 10-minute rant about an unrelated, like Anita Sarkeesian cited a bad source in a in her like UN document or whatever, and it was like he would basically be like, and it gets deeper, it gets crazier. Here's another crazy opinion they hold, but don't fret, it gets even deeper, it gets even crazier. Here's another crazy opinion they hold, and it was that for 10 minutes. And like, yeah, I get it. They're insane. You could have done this in like 45 seconds. I get it. She shouldn't have cited that source, but.
So Anthony Gramuglia last night was covering that, and he went over a Skitty Bitty video that was, and his video is an hour long. And
yeah, that's the one that I responded to.
Yeah, Skitty Bitty's video was 4 minutes. It's like, are you fucking serious? Like,
and it's not an hour of interesting, useful insight or anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he had some, useful stuff to say. It was just like a vessel for like as many ways to like call people stupid or whores or whatever.
Non-sequiturs, just disconnected shit to bring up. Yeah. The little bit I saw, it's like just him complaining about Nita Sarkeesian for most of it. And it's like, she hasn't been relevant for... Fuck, I don't remember the last time she was relevant. She's just somebody they like to bring up all the time.
Well, I mean,
it's like, listen, I'm not a fan, but like, I don't have any strong objection to what she does. I don't think she made great points. I just don't think she...
Like, the thing was, she was like flashed on screen a little bit, in the Skitty Bitty video is like an example of someone who was unfairly targeted, and so that basically became an excuse to like do like again, if you wanted to reiterate, I have problems with Anita Sarkeesian because you said something about it, whatever, fine. It's like 20 minutes of the video, though. We don't need, you know what I mean? Like you could just link to an old video of yours at that point. It's not impressive. It's not like new, interesting stuff or anything like that. And it gives the impression that like you've got way more of an argument than you actually have, because you're like, oh wow, he spent 20 minutes refuting this person. But no, he spent 20 minutes trying to refute a single argument that he could have refuted in less than 5. You know, like it's just so unimpressive.
Here's what I said about him the other day. Whenever Ant was talking about his video, I said Lawrence Engel is an Alabama 7 in terms of intellect, which means he's too dumb to realize that makes him a 4.5 outside of his hometown. That's Rags, by the way. He gloms on to Mahler because Mahler's an idea of a genius, and Mahler keeps Rags around because he says the things Mahler wants plausible deniability for, despite the fact that before he ever became known on YouTube, Mahler was a mod for one Sargon of Akkad. So yeah, that's their fucking deal. Alabama 7. And then there's this little thing here that I made one time.
I don't know. Kill yourself.
Oh,
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they're consistent, then the Alabama 7 content is probably like hilarious to Rags fans. They're probably like shitting their pants laughing at that joke. So you win that one.
Pride Month 2024, Queen. Try just one insult at a time because you're really watering down what you got going on here. I mean,
trans similar people.
And I do that to attack Eric July as a chunky monkey. I do that specifically to do that, to achieve that goal. I date trans and similar. I see.
Listen, Dane's playing 8D chess, dating all these trans similar people to beat Eric July.
What does trans similar mean? Like,
it's people who are
they're similar.
Like a similar to a trans woman, I guess would just be like a woman. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess a trans similar person would just be a woman.
Like just any lady.
A cis woman? What?
Oh jeez.
Oh my god.
And I mean, Eric July is probably fucking fuming about that too. He's probably like, God damn it, that was my trans similar person. I wanted to date that trans similar person.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
I mean, I guess that screwface, I don't believe that's actually, I think that's maybe not a great word to use, but I guess that's what maybe that would mean. Like a GoBot. Good times. I did have to kind of the point of like I found a channel a while back that I've watched here and there, and he really deserves more subs because he's kind of like he's good. It's called the Doomcast, and I wanted to show like a couple of minutes of his Thunderbolts review here because it's kind of just like the sincere version of what Critical Drinker or something does, where like he claims that he was thinking that Thunderbolts was going to be good, and then he watched it and it was shit. It's like we know that he really never actually thought it was going to be good. He just says that kind of thing so he can create a air of sincerity that he's not just grifting, that he was almost always going to come out saying that it was bad because that's his fucking MO. But this guy's called the Doomcast.
I was initially incredibly skeptical of the Thunderbolts film when it was announced. Thunderbolts' original run was one of my favorite books growing up, and it felt like it missed the concept of the original Bagley-Busick twist ending and just settled for the modern version of being Marvel's Suicide Squad, full of mostly also-ran characters from some of the more underwhelming Marvel projects recently, with the exception of Bucky, who's been there from the beginning. And I wasn't really sold on Lewis Pullman being a character with the power of a million exploding suns either. But now, I'm glad I was proven wrong. My expectations weren't high, but even if they had been, I think I'd still have been pretty impressed. Thunderbolts instead feels like a return to the level of quality that we got from Marvel Studios about 10 years ago. Will this matter to Marvel at this point? I don't know. I'm Dan Unthan, and this is the Doomcast.
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 Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomcast. Doomc
Anyway, you guys should check him out. Shillcast. He's got good conversations, talks about things that are pretty interesting. Obviously has an appreciation for the comics themselves, but then, is not afraid to say whenever he's like, thinks something isn't good. Just like a general example of a fan that's not doing it to be a shithead or grift or whatever. Trans shills and shiliosexuals. Oh my God, we're
Oh my God.
Okay. Did I pay you to do this and I just forget that I did this? Like, did I pay you to fucking show up to be awesome? Because you're awesome, man. Thank you. His tag should be Dan Thunman. Let's talk about something. I don't know. Anyways. Yeah, what else we got?
Well, this isn't something like huge to go over, but I think, just to bring it up real fast, because I think it won't surprise me at all if you see Chuds try to take this narrative. So Charlie Cox reveals that he did not like episode 5 of Daredevil Born Again.
Or what?
That was the bank robbery one. He talks about how essentially that was the one episode that was actually shot before the strike. So before they did the reboot and all that. Yeah. And you can kind of sense that. I think it's a decent episode, but like I get not being thrilled with it. Like it is a filler episode, but I like that does like some character stuff.
I got roasted on my stream because I said this was one of my least favorite episodes of the season in terms of like narrative. I think it was a good like individual episode, but it didn't really add much to the season of the show.
That's two different things, right? Like I thought it was the worst episode, but I still thought it was an okay episode. It was also they gave us 2 episodes that week, so I didn't really complain because we got another episode that was.
But I think that's why though. I think they gave us 2 because they were worried that this one wasn't strong enough.
I think that and so they didn't bump up against the premiere of Andor.
I thought that also I thought that was also just done because it's not like a narrative pushing one. Like it felt just like an episode of Daredevil, like a day in the life of Daredevil. I thought I was really happy that they did that. I wish that more shows had the specific awareness to know when they should be releasing more episodes or fewer episodes, and like have that. I don't know. That made me super happy. And I maybe this is controversial. I'm kind of glad that Charlie Cox feels comfortable expressing his opinions a little bit. Like, even though I like that episode, I'm glad that, you know what I mean? He's able to be like, oh yeah, I have my opinions on this and not feel like, oh, Disney's going to lose their minds over it or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I can guarantee you if the Chuds run with this narrative, they're going to exclude this quote from them.
100%.
I really pushed back on the episode. And yet I hear so many people that they love that episode. So it just goes to show you don't know. It's so subjective. Everyone's taste is different. And I've heard that episode is one of the highest rated. Internally, when they do their ratings, it's one of the highest rated Disney shows they had. So essentially, he's saying, I wasn't a fan of that episode, but if you like it, man, what do I know?
It's subjective.
That's his entire take.
Not have any of it. Yeah, I think Echo is canon to Daredevil. Yes,
absolutely.
I kind of wish it was more canon to Daredevil, though. I wish that there had been more clear impact of what happened at the end of Echo. But that's just my, that's my personal opinion.
The empathy blast or whatever that she did on him.
Yeah, I just wish that there had been some sort of some indication that changed the way that he engaged with things, I
mean, I guess we can kind of say that it kind of did, because I don't know if he would have had the ability to control himself long enough to become mayor prior to. You know what I mean? He could control his rate better. It's just, and then a very calculated moment at the end, he decided to let it out.
It's I can see that. I just wish that there was
my best faith interpretation, but I definitely don't think that it went a long way to show that. Yes.
Yeah, I wish I could have felt that, throughout, but I don't know. Whatever. Echo was fine. It wasn't my favorite thing in the world, but
I thought it was decent. I mean, if nothing else, I'd probably give it extra points because I love Graham Greene. I love seeing him in something.
It did have a lot of really good and creative design and directing choices. I will give it that. The way that they handled different characters knowing sign language and stuff is a really fantastic visual indication of her relationship to people that I wish was clear, kind of similar to how in the Acolyte, the way that different Jedi use their lightsabers kind of indicates where they are in their journey. How, how Soul barely ever uses his versus how Yord will like use it as a flashlight, you know? Like that's just a cool, like, even if I'm not a humongous fan of the show, that is a cool choice. I am glad that somebody made it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But yeah, if any chuds tried to run with that narrative that somehow fucking Charlie Cox is blasting fucking Disney, there's a lot more.
I'm surprised they're not doing more with this Wall Street Journal report from a couple of days ago.
Ooh,
they're still talking about Rachel Zegler. Like,
oh god,
Jesus Christ, that movie came out.
I don't know. We don't really have
a month
a lot
and a
of time
half ago.
Maybe I'll talk about it Friday, or maybe Bob, you'll want to talk about it tomorrow or something. But like, there's a lot here.
Stream tomorrow. The plan is to stream tomorrow, but I always get a last minute text from my daughter. It's like, fuck.
This is from 2 days ago. Disney wanted more from Marvel. Now it wants less, and it kind of gives the behind the scenes of what how things transpired with the last few years of the MCU and the Disney Plus shows, and what everybody was thinking about these, and what all just the kind of mechanics behind the scenes. And it's kind of surprising that Chuds haven't gone in on this. There's a lot of information, actually.
I actually think it's because that's one of the things I thought about. And the other one is it's really hard to pull a single narrative from this. Might be why.
I mean, I think I saw the reason I heard of it is because I did see a small channel that was using it to say just as we thought kind of thing. So like that, I'm surprised they're not even doing that. That like this article confirms everything kind of angle, right? It doesn't really confirm much of anything. If
like Fandom Pulse or whatever that fucking site is, or
Bounding
or that Park Place or one of them truncate it into something that's like singular focused, they would pick up on it. But I think the article is just too big. So yeah.
Pretty neat. I like this. It's cool.
I mean, we are dealing with people with like a 3rd grade reading level.
Well, that's
so this is
exactly,
too much
Bob.
for
That's
them.
what I'm saying. I think they're probably going to wait for like one of those news sites to like chop it up into something they can easily use.
Here's 2 paragraphs I can read.
Yeah, pretty much.
Having not looked at this, I'm assuming a significant portion of it has to do with the fact that they were like rushing stuff out. Like
that they were doing too much and rushing it out, and that basically their process that they had used to become so popular broke down after they started doing so much. Yeah,
because and a lot of it had to do with Kevin Feige being like strained and stretched out over multiple projects. The push for the streaming stuff that
like essentially he wasn't making himself available for the TV shows, which kind of tracks when you think about it. That like whereas before with the movies he would kind of get the movie going and then he would get his producer and director to go start on it, but they could come to him anytime, and they would come to him all the time to consult and whatnot. And then like once with the shows he kind of just stayed focusing on the movies for the most part, and then let the shows start doing their own thing. But
then that also started affecting the movies because they claimed that he was spread too thin between both of them, so then the movies started getting impacted by his lack of focus. So I mean,
he told colleagues he agreed to the plan with speaking of the one Disney Plus plan, because they leaned on them heavily for the Disney Plus app.
Yeah. Philip, I will say this plays a much bigger factor than anybody's willing to admit. Like none of the studios want to accept this, that COVID changed culture a lot.
Yes.
And they don't want to change the way they do business. So they're trying to adjust the old school parts of their business to fit the new culture, and they're having a tough time with it. The strikes also affected films as well, films and TV shows.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, they've just had a string of bad luck that it seems like DC had from the beginning.
Yeah. With
their, but like Marvel kind of seemed immune, but then suddenly Marvel got hit too. It was like you had COVID, you had freaking. Well, I mean, just the fact that they ended the series that start all of the household names, and now they're going to try and introduce a whole new stable of characters. Meanwhile, you've got all these fucking grifters on the internet that are working pretty hard day and night to sour people on these new characters.
Oh, as a really good example of that, I watched Jeremy's review of Thunderbolts, and throughout it, he admits specifically to not having seen, well, he called it Black Captain America, but having seen Captain America, Brave New World, or what's the show, Falcon and Winter Soldier, having never seen either of them, and he ends his review with, they should have never made They should have never made Falcon into Captain America. It should have been Bucky or whatever. I'm like, you haven't seen him in anything. You've literally not even seen the character. How do you know that?
He saw the end of Endgame, and that's it.
They saw a black guy as Captain America, and that's all it took for him to have his
Jeremy
opinion about it.
Riggs would say such a thing.
Yeah, what? Shocking.
Well, I mean, it also, again, shows, go back to the media literacy comment that I had. Bucky, in the context of the MCU, would have made no sense becoming Captain America. It makes zero sense.
He really didn't in the comic.
Yeah.
I mean, he was Captain America for a short time, but even then, he gave it up because of the exact reason they didn't make him that and shouldn't have made him that in the movies. Because he's just not the guy that should represent America in that way. Like, he's just not.
I mean, other than like having like a breakdown because of all the stuff that was going on, John Walker on paper was a better Captain America than Bucky was on paper. But you know, we saw what happened with that. Sam was the best choice though, based on who we had in the MCU. So
well, I would have preferred Captain Marvel probably, but
I mean, it's worth pointing out. Brave New World is the first Captain America movie we've gotten in a while where Bucky doesn't try to kill innocent people.
Right. Yeah.
It's just worth pointing that out.
So yeah, one of the things that this article talks about is that they are definitely they feel that they need to have these next two Avengers movies live up to the legacy of the last two. And that's what they're kind of focused on at this point. It's kind of building back up to that.
I don't know if they'll be as big as Infinity.
I actually think they're both going to be at least $1 billion. I think they're both going to be $1 billion.
I think they're $1 billion movies easy. I
don't think they're going to blow them out of the water or anything, but I don't think they're going to fail. I mean, even if what is failure for these things, right? Like it would have to be, I don't know, if you're going to have all these actors and all these characters in these movies, like they're going to have, I don't see a way that it could fail almost. There's just going to be their marketing machine's going to.
I mean, they're bringing back all of the X-Men actors, all of the Phase 1 and 2 and 3 actors, pretty much. Like, I don't see how that's gonna.
I mean,
fail.
even if the movie wasn't like box office successful, they're still going to sell trillions of dollars in merch. So like, they're making
I'm willing to put down a bet that both of these movies, at the very least, break $1 billion.
So no, not everyone needs to be, but these two, Doomsday and Secret Wars, do have to.
Yeah, they do. These are actually the two movies that should be compared to like the previous Avengers movies. So
and I've been reading through the recent Thunderbolts and stuff. It's pretty good. He's not the Winter Soldier anymore. He's now the Revolution.
So like I saw this come up. Thunderbolts earned an estimated $7.6 million on its first Tuesday, a 51.7% increase from Monday. That marks the biggest Monday to Tuesday jump for any MCU film to date.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah. I wonder if
based on word of mouth, I think this movie is going to have a decent holdover. I don't think it's going to do the usual 70% drop.
I actually think the new Avengers thing probably helped it. It brought in word of mouth for the movie for them. Also,
yeah.
So I think that Fantastic Four is directly going to lead into Doomsday.
Yes.
They're going to be dealing essentially. It seems like there's a good chance that maybe their reality doesn't survive, and that they do.
Thunderbolts definitely doesn't have any lead into it at all.
No.
Kind of like a Captain America 4 or Captain America situation where he wakes up in the present time. It's going to be, I think, something like that, where at the end maybe they'll show up in the regular MCU.
Maybe.
Maybe. There's no signs are coming to the MCU. What are you talking about? There's been nothing.
There's no indication.
No.
Don't pay attention to the music credits at the end of anything.
I remember seeing that. Be like, why is there the music credit?
I didn't even see it. My brother saw it and pointed it out to me, and I was like, "Well, damn it!"
What are we talking about?
Nothing. We're not talking about anything.
Okay.
Nothing, Mister. I haven't seen Thunderbolts yet. We do not.
Well, see, that's what's crazy. Is like Galactus doesn't destroy universes, though. That's the thing. That's the only thing. It's like he just eats planets. So maybe, what does Reed use the ultimate nullifier, and it actually does ultimately nullify everything? Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe he eats a really big planet and explodes.
Yeah.
I'm full.
No, because we already got Robert Downey Jr. playing him. So. Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, man. That does talk about this in here. So apparently, and it's just like I kind of suspected, they were already Feige and RDJ were already talking about how to bring him back in before it became clear that they wanted to reshuffle what they were going to do. So they were already talking, and then the what's his name stuff, the Kang stuff happened. Forget that actor's name.
Jonathan Majors.
Yes, Jonathan Majors. He did what he did.
Good actor, piece of shit though.
And then you know, no, it's not fake. No, that's very real. You thought that was fake this whole time? The RDJ thing is crazy. No, and then they basically just, once they talked to the Disney people, Disney was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's bring him back. And one of the ways that they had decided, or they talked about to bring RDJ back in, was as a Doctor Doom variant or some shit like that. And that's what they decided to go with as, and I was thinking about it a little bit more, and I kind of get it a little bit more than I did before. So they wanted to have something that had been set up prior to Doomsday or whatever it was called before, in Secret Wars, as in like a villain that had that there was some kind of stake and emotional weight to this being the villain. So they were going to have Kang, and they were going to build him up with Kang. They started doing that in Loki. They did it in Quantumania. Then that didn't work out. So what's a quick way that they can, slot somebody else in there to be the villain that is kind of like just a cheat code kind of way? Well, if we get the guy who literally looks like Iron Man to play to play a fucking Doctor Doom, that definitely comes with its own narrative weight, right? So I kind of get that a little bit more now. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, a radical take. I think it could be interesting depending on how they play it. But obviously, I know they're saying it's Victor Von Doom. Maybe it is Victor Von Doom, but obviously they're going to play it off like it's a Tony Stark variant, because that will be part of it, where it's like, holy fucking shit, hey, Iron Man's back. There might be a thing like, oh, fucking awesome, Iron Man's back, and all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, this is not Iron Man.
The only thing is that it doesn't look like Spider-Man's going to be in these movies, maybe. Which
I feel like they're yeah.
You think?
I feel like this is a No Way Home situation where they're like, there's not gonna be Spider-Man in this, and then what? Theater goes wild.
I'd be shocked if Mark Ruffalo was even not in it, and I'd put Spider-Man at a higher chance of being in it than Mark Ruffalo.
I love your comments, Pride Month 2024 Queen. I love them. They make me
never change.
Never change. Except change just basically everything.
Hey, if maybe Bob the old ways, if you want to see a little hint of Robert Downey Jr. playing the villain, Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Maybe this is not true because Avengers was in Phase 1, which did pretty well.
Now Thor and Incredible Hulk, and to a lesser degree Captain America: First Avenger weren't like they did fine, but they weren't like massive box office successes.
Incredible
They're definitely
Hulk,
more mid-grade.
Yeah. Have you guys noticed? Is everybody familiar with Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports? Have you noticed his slight shift in social opinions recently? At his restaurant, he had a table where somebody brought in a sign. I can't even believe that this happened. Brought in a sign that says, fuck the Jews. Wait,
what?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Who had a sign that said that?
Some people, I guess customers that, from what I could tell, customers that the wait staff knew brought it in. So he questioned people in his wait staff. There's a whole video about it. But it seems like he's starting to argue that free speech isn't free speech because there's hate speech and stuff like that. So people are that's not the way he would argue. And in the comments under the clip, he's getting attacked kind of by people who are like, no, bro, you're supposed to, support free speech and stuff like that. There's a whole clip about it. Do you want to see the clip? I can find it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see here.
It's better than the clip, the old man clip of John Voight that I found.
I have that one too. I didn't know if we were going to do that one. It's bad. Yeah.
I'm sure it's terrible.
We can watch it for the humor of it, but it's like he's sitting there with the fucking American flag in the background and stuff. It's awful.
It is cringe as fuck. Just looking at this, I'm like, oh god.
I mean, we can watch this first if you want. It doesn't matter to me.
Damn, what happened to Christopher Walken?
I mean, keep in mind, this is somebody who's probably not going to be acting much longer. in charge of some bullshit Hollywood thing, sitting in front of an American flag, cringy as fuck. Like, why? Another thing is, why does Trump want to be a part of every single thing? Everything. I'm tired of hearing his name associated with every fucking thing that we do.
Because that's what narcissism is, man.
It's just fucking crazy.
It is.
I wonder if anybody's explained to John Voight that in Megalopolis, which is a very flawed movie, but his character...
See this boner I got? Was his line something like that he says in there?
Well, yeah, he's got some cringe stuff. But he, like in that movie, he literally shoots in the ass the guy who's an obvious Trump stand-in. And it's like, I wonder if anybody's ever explained that to him. Let's go. Okay, I kind of don't want to click on this. Let's see what happens.
It's bad.
Fellow Americans and my peers of Hollywood, I recently met with our president, Donald J. Trump, who loves the entertainment business, wants to see Hollywood thrive and make films bigger and greater than ever before, as he says.
My God.
And see productions come back to American Hollywood. The Hollywood that I fell in love with when I was a child.
Keep in mind, I pointed out that most of those classic movies were not filmed in America.
Our industry recently has suffered greatly over these past few years.
Yeah, COVID.
And many Americans have lost jobs to productions that have gone overseas.
Which you're going to cause now with whatever this is you're doing.
People have lost their homes, can't feed their families.
Fires came through and destroyed houses.
Meeting with many of the entertainment leaders,
woke
I
fires.
have brought forward recommendations to
Who are entertainment leaders? What does that even mean?
I don't know.
That can help the industry. Some provisions that could be extended and others that could be revived or instituted. This would help the movie and television.
Can you be specific? This is vague as fuck. Be specific. What are you talking about?
The American family experience. Our president loves this nation. And all
Take your medicine, Grandpa.
He's a great businessman, a leader.
No, he's not.
A caring person that will always
He's not that either.
The people and our beloved entertainment industry. I'm proud to call the 47th President of the United States of America my friend. And as I've
The
said
dick
before,
sucking is too much. Far too much.
What the fuck?
John Voight, man. Sleepy John Voight.
And yes, Sly. George Washington. That's Sly Stallone, my buddy.
What the
God
fuck?
bless everybody.
Oh my
Some text
god!
on screen and says that John Voight died 5 minutes later.
I mean, I know. Like what the? Like what was even the point of making that fucking video? He
propaganda.
Says
this is a propaganda.
Yeah.
This is the thing. This is propaganda. When they're talking about propaganda, everyone, I want you to pay attention. A old man saying nothing, praising the president of a country or a leader of a country in front of the country's flag is propaganda. That's what this is.
Post didn't quite get ratioed, but I mean, considering it's on fucking Nazi land, that's, you know, kind of says a lot that it only got 106 likes and 75 shares and 62 comments. So I mean,
just like with this whole tariff thing, like, why can't you tell us what the plan is?
Yeah.
Why can't you tell us?
Deadline lists John Voight on his proposal to revive film. There's a proposal there?
There's nothing there.
Fuck.
President Trump is great. President Trump he loves us. He loves movies. He wants to make them great again. And God bless you. Goodbye. That's essentially what he said. He just said it slowly because he's an old man. But
Donald Trump tastes great. I mean, he's a great president.
It's crazy to me that, like, tell us what the plan is. That's the reason why the stock markets are all over the place. If he actually had a plan that he was trying to implement from what he's doing, it would not be so volatile right now.
Yes.
The problem is they never want to tell us what something is, even though none of it is secret. Why would you keep any of this secret? If you want people to be on board with what you're doing, just tell us what it is. What that tells me is you don't have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're
Jasmine.
at least in part hoping that like their people will come up with something, come up with something that sounds smart.
I'll be honest, most people that do politics, for a living have said there's no way by midterms that Trump stays in power. There's no way. If this continues down the path it is financially for the country, there's no way. He's not going to finish
Well, I mean,
his time in office.
I'll be honest. I am concerned if they pass that actual voter ID thing where people actually have to sign up for a special voter ID to actually fucking vote, which they are trying to pass.
I think it'll get challenged, though. I think it'll get challenged.
I hope it does.
It's very anti-First Amendment.
But they're also trying to have the Supreme Court rule on not allowing the court to challenge it. So.
Right. So there's a bunch of different things in the air. But I will say they're losing battles right now. They've not won anything. Everything that's gone to court for them, with the exception of the one fucking thing that I argued about back in November, which is the trans-military ban. The one thing that I argued was this.
Bob the always has it. This is what the plan is.
Yeah, but it's not working.
No.
It's not. Nobody's coming to him. He's not talked to anybody. Like they've said, like, at least it slipped out from the administration, the people that aren't on the same page, that they've not talked to anybody. So how long are the Republicans going to be able to put up with this if they want to hold on to? Well, the House is already gone. There's no way they keep the House. The Senate is still up in question because there's a few seats that are still kind of locked in. But how long can they keep up this game before they lose the Senate too? If they lose Congress completely, it's over. It's over for them. Like, it just is. So we'll see what happens. I see a lot of small victories and some bigger victories here, but the trans thing is the one thing that I argued with, and I was made fun of for saying that this was going to happen. I said in my first video where I talked about what's next for gay people and queer people with Trump's reelection, two of my biggest things were the trans. Well, one of the two biggest things was the trans military ban, because I said he's going to try and do it again because he did it back in 2016.
I did that stream with you that time where we talked about that, right?
Yeah. And I got comments under that saying, "Oh, there's no way he's going to do that." Then I had people 2 or 3 streams after that, people were clipping it and saying that's not going to happen, and I was like, "It's absolutely going to happen." 100% going to happen. And none of those people have apologized to me. None of them have said, "Oh, we were wrong. You were right." None of them have.
If the deportation starts becoming a optically unviable thing for them,
it's close. It's close to that now. It's already looking bad for him now. So, well, they had there was some sort of a session today, I think, where they were talking to Marjorie Taylor Greene about insider trading and how people under Trump now it looks like they've been insider trading. And she's talking about anti-trans stuff. And everybody in there is like, why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about trans fencing right now when literally you guys are insider trading? We found Jasmine before Isom did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but let's take a look at this Dave Portnoy video because I've got a very short amount of time here. But he talks a little bit about this. I've not seen a switch up like this in a long time. This is a guy who, look, I don't like this guy. I don't support the kind of content he puts out.
He's part of the same group, not necessarily crew, but like people like Rogan and stuff that are like the more, apolitical guys that helps move people.
Once you start losing these guys, that is bad. These guys help them get elected.
Doing this content, I've pretty much learned the guys who are always claiming to be apolitical are usually just right wingers pushing their shit, but trying to act intellectual about it.
Becoming right wing because they don't.
Yeah.
Everybody that's well, not everybody, but a lot of people under this video are saying he sounds like an SJW. He sounds like a soy boy. He's looking for cancel culture. Like, let's watch this here.
All right, emergency press conference time. So I'm getting ready to go to the Met Gala, and all of a sudden my phone, the last hour or two, my phone's fucking blowing up. Our bar in Philadelphia, Barstool Sampson Street, usually a great fucking bar. Bottle service, people buy drinks.
A lot of money in that.
There was a sign yesterday that said, "Fuck the Jews." I've been shaking. I've been so fucking mad for the last 2 hours. Like,
keep in mind, what I found also is this wasn't like some person just holding up a sign. Like somebody put it on the wall.
Damn.
In his restaurant.
And he is wearing a Taylor Swift shirt, so I think that maybe that's coloring.
Yeah.
1 bite, we all know the rules. And then he takes 2 bites. All right, here we go.
Like, I instantly got on. This is why the emergency press conference was late, because I was so over the top. It's like, I'm going to fucking make it my life fucking mission to ruin these people. Like, I'm coming to your throat. I'm never ending. And I just sat, and for the last 2 hours, I have been on the trail. Trust me, I've been on the trail. You think I'm going to put up with this shit at my bar? So I've been hunting down waitresses, the table who did it, and everything you can fucking name. Because I want fucking consequences for fucking action.
That sounds very SJW, doesn't it? Like he wants people who are being anti-Semitic to be held accountable for it. Actual anti-Semitism, not the stuff that they try to get you to believe. Like legitimately doing anti-Semitic stuff.
So I'm not just sitting back like, oh, what are you gonna? No, trust me, I have been on it. I believe the two waitresses responsible for the table already fired. I talked to one of them, one of the dumbest fucking humans I've ever talked to in my life.
Wow.
She's at a fucking dance recital. She's like, can I call you back in 20? No fucking honey, you fucking can't. This is your one chance to talk to me.
God, he sounds
Idiot,
so mad about
total
this.
idiot, this girl. I've talked to the guy Mike Wade who's tagged. Guess what? He wasn't even fucking there. I had this kid basically in tears turning state witness to me, rolling on the people who were there. I've talked to one of the two guys who fucking did it. He's like, I'm not anti-Semitic. He's basically crying to me. And I'm just like, I don't fucking buy it for a second. Who the fuck would do that sign in my fucking bar? You think I'm just gonna sit here? I'm gonna make it my fucking mission to put you in lights. My fucking mission. Kid's crying. I just hung up on his ass. I go, I'm giving you 1 fucking hour. 1 fucking hour. 2 kids go to Temple. Tell me, how do I make this fucking right before I go fucking ape shit? You want to take anti-Semitism classes, you want to do whatever, you make it feel right. I don't need your fucking tears. The Mike Wade kid wasn't even fucking there. Wasn't in the bar. We got the footage, he's not even fucking bar.
So it kind of just spirals in him calling out names after this. But my point of sharing this video is that Dave, did you not know the group that you were a part of? Did you not understand the assignment? Like the people that you've associated with who pretend that they give a shit about Jewish people actually don't. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if that was very obvious or not, but they don't. The group that you've aligned with are essentially at this point, without, we don't really have a better word for it, is like a neo-Nazi fascist movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it should not be shocking that this is the kind of people that would come into a business that you own. Now, I know that you probably are shocked by this, or at least you seem to be shocked by this, to the point where it's going to affect your business and things like that. But welcome to waking up to what this group is. We've been saying this from the start. He's slowly coming around. Again, he's one of these Joe Rogan, like, Dude Bro, Theo Vaughn. Like, this is the kind of stuff that he's involved in. It's a very significant thing for him to go out and say things negatively about Trump and now also shift and call out like actual anti-Semitism, because they don't typically do that either.
I don't think he's trying to sound badass. I think he's pissed off. I don't know how much he cusses otherwise, but he sounds fucking pissed off to me. And when I'm pissed off, I definitely throw more F words than I.
Yeah.
Bob, you got something there? What do you got?
Yeah, no, I got a couple things. So there's this that I thought was hilarious. So like, there's a post about the 2 protagonists in GTA 6, Jason and Lucinda. Okay, I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't played a GTA since Vice City, but
this is
whatever.
so brain rotten. I can't understand.
Yeah, and then the 2 top comments: if this game is anti-cop, I'm not playing. This story looks anti-cop. GTA, the sandbox game where I used to have fun playing it, seeing how many stars I could collect.
How many cops in GTA can you fucking murk before they take you down? That was like one of the games that I used to play. It was on my own design.
We do have a super chat here from my channel, from CJH Entertainment, 699 super chat. Thank you so much. If Ultron in the comics is Hank Pym without morals, and the MCU Ultron is the same but Tony, so what if that vision Tony had wasn't about Thanos, it was about Doom?
I don't think so.
In short, Tony saw his own dark side. So you're saying you don't see that?
I don't see that because for one thing, I don't think it's going to be just the dark side Tony Stark. Also, I think they're not going to shit on the narrative of the Infinity Saga just to build up this one. And that would, in a way, that would kind of like take out the little bit of connection that there was between Thanos and no, I just don't think that's. I mean, the Vision literally showed You know, like the Chitauri and stuff like that. I just don't see it.
Okay.
But
well, thank you for the super chat. I do have to jump out of here though. Are you guys going to be on for much longer or?
Probably not me anyway.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot left.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for super chatting on my channel before I get out of here. You guys were very generous today. Thank you. I appreciate it.
He's cashing out the rupees. He's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, play nice in the channel with everybody. And yeah, I think I'm streaming tomorrow night for my Nerdcast, so I'll be there. So everybody stop in.
Sweet.
And but I'll see everyone later. Have a good night.
Later. And Greg B, this is something I've thought about, and I personally think it's like I just don't see it happening. Them casting Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man and never showing his face. I just don't see that happening.
He needs to be fucked up though. That's the thing. He needs to have
true.
Dude, he needs to have a scarred up ass face. It's just the way it goes, you know. So I don't know. There's several points to worry about, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god. For a stream where we literally didn't cover Eric July, this has been crazy fun. I love it. It's good times. That sounds kind of gay, to be honest.
And then let's see. There's this other post I saw. This isn't a post by Critical Drinker. It's a post from the Critical Drinkers subreddit, but it is cringe as fuck. So like they're looking at this street and they're like, this game is supposed to depict a dystopian nightmare future. Streets are clean, buildings are pretty, crime is low, and Nazis rule. And like the fuck? No.
Yes, it's the Nazi part of it, man. That's what...
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, this looks beautiful. Like holy
and the thing
fuck.
is, like Nazi Germany didn't look like this. You know?
No.
They were fucking struggling. They were not fucking getting the resources that they, you know, were supposed to be, that they lied to them and told them they were going to give them. Oh, weird. Sounds familiar. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the very fact that they were struggling is part of how the Nazis were able to gain power. Germany was suffering greatly after World War I, and a lot of that led to the Nazis rising in power in World War II.
Right. But I mean, the Nazis told the people of the citizens that like after World War I that they were going to be the ones to bring them back to their glory when all they did was dump every little bit of their resources into the war effort, you know, to take on the entire fucking world, and didn't have any money for the actual people back home. Sorry, I mean you can Google this kind of stuff, but yeah, Doomsday comes first, then Secret Wars.
Yeah, Doomsday and then Secret Wars.
Eric's last Simpbot, yeah. So Shillcast StreamYard fucking offered me to add another destination for streams. I don't know if it just we got an extra one for some reason or what the hell how that happened, but like I don't know. Malachi, if you wanted to talk about putting your channel on there so you can send it to there.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I have streamed it to my channel before. But I just I usually don't
you don't have all the controls that way though, like you did.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's probably good. I literally don't because I'm like I have to like put a title in and
it's okay. You don't want your audience to see us with you, you know, see with
that's
us.
True. No, that was it. That was the main thing. That's why I told them to subscribe to you in the background on my in the defense video. I don't know if you saw, like I had it just like on the whiteboard.
I did see that. I need to go back and finish watching that. I started watching. I had no idea how you were going to use those. So if I would have known that, I would have maybe not done the Dr. Seuss.
Oh no, I thought it was good. That was basically what I was going for. I didn't want them like sung or anything like that, you know. But yeah, honestly, like I was kind of glad that I had a bunch of videos like pop off right around that time because it just like people ended up naturally watching that one because I was like nobody's gonna watch this, but I kind of
I was like I went by your channel and then I was like looking at like I had to like rub my eyes. I was like, wait, several of these videos have like 44,000 fucking views suddenly. Like when did that happen?
I mean it was the response to the Critical Drinkers like well, whatever it was, his response to criticism. I think that was like that kind of popped off, and then I just kept like posting stuff consistently. And then for whatever reason, the John Oliver one did too, which I'm also not complaining about because I'm glad that's like outside of the like fandom space and stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, we fully doubled in subscriber count in the last like month, which was crazy.
Damn, yeah, no shit.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I was like
12K on this Rags one, 48K on this fucking Chud guy here. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's been a pretty good month. You know, I'm happy about it. I'm gonna be getting some more like just regular like fan stuff. I have one about Transformers 1 that I'm like slowly working on. But I don't know. Good times, honestly. Also, I have that response coming out to the guy who tried to destroy my Rags video because that was just very funny, and he commented like 50 times.
No strategy.
And then,
I have no strategy. There's zero strategy.
You'll also be shocked to hear that I had this guy who has a YouTube channel or whatever coming on, or you know, coming into comments and stuff like that. I was like, oh, you got a YouTube channel, want to hop on stream? And he was like, no, or sorry, he said yes, but I don't have Discord, so I can't. And I was like, oh, don't worry, I've got, you know, I can just send you a link and you can hop on Streamlabs. And he was like, actually, oh, you have to give me $500. And I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, but it's gonna be fun. He managed to accidentally turn his entire response video into a Patreon ad for me. So like, I guess thanks for that.
Yay.
But yeah, no, been a good month for the old YouTube channel. So I appreciate that.
All right, it's not fun whenever you get involved with it. Okay, it's not fun anymore. Now you're ruining it.
You know, I said never change before, but honestly, if like 6 months from now you came back and you were like commenting the same stuff, but you added in parentheses, by the way, I'm woke now, I would be like really satisfied with my life, you know? Like, I like that he's making those comments, but I would, you know, it'd be nice if he was also woke while doing it.
I think the main villain's gonna also be Doom in Secret Wars. I hate to say it. That's just.
I think the main villain is gonna be Kraven the Hunter.
I saw Madam and immediately assumed the next word would be Madam Web, and I was like, yes, Madam Web sweep, bring her back.
I think the villain's going to be that version of Rhino from the Kraven movie where he's
oh god.
It's gonna be like the petition that was like, we were all busy that weekend, please bring Morbius back a third time.
Dude, like they're gonna be like, hey, Paul Giamatti, didn't you like play the Rhino in a really bad movie? He was like, yeah, but at least I wasn't in the Kraven movie.
Right, that was not me. Just to be clear. I was the guy in my underwear in the robot suit. I was not the guy who went. Anyway, that's all I got. Check out. You're streaming them probably, Bob. Right?
Probably. There's nothing on the school calendar. My daughter hasn't texted me, so I will be in theory streaming tomorrow, and I am crossing my fingers on that one. Worst case scenario, I will be streaming Saturday. I'm hoping to do both. I have a comic book poll up right now to cover. So make sure to go in there to vote. Right now, Secret 6-1 is winning. It's over DC Books. I suspect Absolute Wonder Woman will win this, but we will find out because. Yeah, those absolute titles just dominate these polls usually.
You like taking risks with those theories, huh? You like to be on the edge.
And then the other thing I'd like to bring up is Captain America, the Winter Soldier versus Fascism, coming out this Saturday. It's currently available to members.
Is this like a kind of an appeal to your old show that you used to do with the movie versus movie?
Kind of like definitely with the thumbnail. Yeah, I definitely leaned into it with the thumbnail. But yeah, it's kind of just looking at Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and what can tell us about our current political situation.
That the MCU is not as good as it was then.
Yes, the whole conclusion is that the MCU sucks. But yes, that will be coming out Saturday. If you don't want to pay 99 cents for a membership, yes.
Myself, I've been putting music out that it's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but I don't care. It's just I'm wanting to do it, and I'm been doing it. So I'm doing it. If you want to follow my music creation process and also get free downloads of said music, you can go over to Patreon. Follow me there. You can also follow me for free on Patreon, by the way. It's not just a paid thing anymore. And I don't do a lot of hard sells. So, but the suggestion is always there. The implication that you could always become a paying supporter at any time, that's always around. So,
but I would add that Pierce is absolutely a fascist, just like Trump. Pierce is way smarter than Trump.
Way smarter, way better looking, way better dressed, in better shape.
Yeah.
Just definitely not a brain full
Pierce
of
doesn't smear orange shit all over his face every morning.
Yep. I think I'll probably talk about Valnet on Friday. Finally, I meant to do that a couple weeks now. They need to be talked about. It's pieces of shit. Valnet is kind of like the other side, the less visible aspect of why fandom sucks so much these days online, because Valnet owns essentially all of the major publications that talk about the stuff that we tend to enjoy, and they've turned into essentially content mills, and they have way underpaid writers that are just cranking out garbage for SEO bait, and it kind of sucks. And it's there's one guy that fucking owns the whole thing, and he sucks. So I want to talk about those people. Also, don't forget Race War, sponsored by Meta PCs.
Yay, Meta PC.
Race War. Go, Jeremy Griggs. Get that Race War, bud. You've been building towards this whole time. I think you might have jumped the gun a little bit, though, calling for it. You know what I mean? I just don't think we're there yet. I really don't.
I know that if I'm in a race war and I need some sort of computing power, I'm definitely going to be going to Meta PC to get all of my...
It's an all-in-one website. Build your own custom PC and start a race war.
For all my racist computing needs.
The designs of their chassis and like their fucking cases and stuff, they're really cool looking, man. Like if I was going to...
They do look cool. Yeah, I remember looking at
a race
like,
war,
okay.
I would go to that.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I was about ready to order a PC from them. Then I noticed the race war stuff, and I said, maybe I'll go to Micro Center.
See, I was all on board for the race war, and then I saw they sell PCs, and I was like, what the fuck? That's a joke. That's what we call a joke, you guys. All right. And on that note,
you're getting clipped to a short right now.
Before we go, just if anybody, because I'm sure the chat was, I haven't been checking, but I'm sure you guys have all been speculating. What I've been doing this entire time, I've been building a Star Destroyer. So
that's awesome.
Well, that's important.
I was gonna have a talk with you after and be like, you can't do that while you're on stream next time. But good to know that I was wrong.
Better not be doing it, Nick Rakita. What the hell?
I was actually building my Race War PC, but
okay. Well, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm gonna show this one again on the way out, just because this is really fucking funny sketch, and it reminds me of dealing with chuds on the internet. So here we go.
Nazi.
Wie bitte? Haben Sie mich gerade als Nazi beschimpft?
Na, Sie sind doch einer.
Das ist ja eine Unverschämtheit. Nur weil ich in der NSDAP und in der SS bin, bin ich noch lange kein Nazi. Wahrscheinlich bin ich auch noch rechtsextrem, oder was?
Ja, aber was sollen Sie denn sonst sein?
Ich bin vielleicht ein besorgter Bürger, der Angst vor Überfremdung hat. Aber ich bin nicht rechts. Und ich bin erst recht kein Nazi. Hey, Sie da? Sehe ich etwa wie ein Nazi aus?
Nö, würde ich jetzt nicht sagen.
Na, sehen Sie? Aber der ist wahrscheinlich für Sie auch ein Nazi, hm? Nazis,
Yeah.
Nazis, Nazis, lauter Nazis. Wenn einem die Argumente ausgehen, dann holt man schnell mal die gute alte Nazi-Keule raus.
Es hat doch nichts mit Nazi-Keule zu tun.
Sie machen sich das Leben sehr einfach. Nur weil jemand die Mainstream-Meinung nicht teilt, ist er gleich ein Nazi.
Aber Nazi sein ist doch längst Mainstream. Ihr Nationalsozialisten seid an der Macht.
Ach ja, ich vergaß. In Ihrer Welt sind ja alle Nazis. Der Führer ist wahrscheinlich für Sie auch ein Nazi, was?
Yes.
Ja? Jetzt reicht's aber. Führerbeleidigung. Mitkommen.
Das sind jetzt über...
Ja, ich weiß. Nazi-Methoden.
Good stuff. All right.
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of it. I talk about one fucking thing and we make a whole video.